I'm rolling with FD.
I am rolling with FD.
I'm rolling with FD.
I'm rolling with FD, baby.
We are rolling with FD.
I'm rolling with FD.
We got alphas and bros in the house.
That's right.
Peace out, my brother.
Woo!
I'm rolling with the F to the D.
Learn something new every day when you're rolling with FD.
We are rolling with FD, baby.
I roll with one person, and that's FD.
I'm rolling with FD, baby.
You
I
gotta
love
love
it,
it, man.
man. Hey, Renee, who you rolling with?
Rolling with FD.
Hey, Matt.
Rolling with FD.
You don't have to ask. I'm rolling with FD.
My man, C. Bless. Who you rolling with?
I'm rolling with FD.
I'm rolling with FD.
That's how you just rolling, right? That's the whole thing, right? You roll with it.
I'm rolling with FD.
Manny and Jeremy, who you rolling with?
We're rolling with FD. We don't want to get our asses kicked.
My man, Dan, the card man. I appreciate you, dog. You gotta let the people know who you rolling with.
Well, obviously I'm rolling with FD.
I'm rolling with FD, baby.
Chasing Cardboard is rolling with FD.
Rolling with FD.
Honored tonight.
How we doing?
How you doing? Big Jon. So we got Michael. Welcome, Michael. How you doing, sir?
Doing wonderfully, FD. Thank you guys very much for having me on tonight. Much appreciated.
Oh yeah. Yes,
No
sir.
problem. Nice to have you here, my friend. Gonna get into a little bit of everything tonight.
I know. I like the breakdown there, man. Very, very cool. Looking forward to it.
So, Michael, where are you located now?
I am in Marietta, Georgia right now.
Marietta. Okay, cool. Very cool.
I am not a fan of any of the teams from Georgia, though.
Oh, why is that? Why not? Why not?
Because I grew up on Long Island in New York.
I thought I heard. Okay, I thought I heard something there. All right.
I'm a New York fan.
Very cool.
All right. Glad you guys got Juan Soto.
I am. I'll be a lot happier when we get Pete Alonso because we need a bat behind Juan Soto.
But FD, you want to do stand interview Michael? Let him introduce himself.
Yeah, so Michael, we usually get into having an individual tell us about themselves, kind of their background, and how they get introduced to the hobby.
Yeah, so hey, Michael, Huddle Card Collection on YouTube, on IG, X, the whole thing and everything. So I'm an old collector, as you can kind of see. I started opening up my first packs in 1976.
Okay.
Then, like most people now at my age, it was a hobby. It was collecting. It was not, I was not a value guy, right? I didn't know. I didn't look at cards as value. I looked at them as, what they are, just, pictures of guys from sports on cardboard. Yeah. Then I, like most, I was, what, 11, 12 years old at that point in time. Then, got more into playing sports also and doing all the things, got out of the hobby, but never really completely. Always was looking around here or there, always picking something up every now and again. And then, I don't know how, let's see, 7 or 8 years ago, my son was by then 16 years old. So I started, getting him involved and, got back into it. And then we had started, Huddle Card Collection. And then, his life changed, different things, working, so on and so forth. So that's, where we are today. So I do a podcast on Wednesday nights called Collecting Profit, which the title is a little misleading because we do talk a lot of sports also, but we always try and bring it around to hobby talk and, buying and selling in the hobby.
Okay. Very cool. Very, very cool. Who are you? You talked about New York.
Yep.
What athletes, what teams do you cheer for?
Mets, Jets, Islanders, and Knicks are on my 4 teams and stuff. I'm a different kind of like that. I'm not, and it's funny. From a baseball is really sport I love the most. It's my, my passion and what I had, wanted to be when I was growing up. And it's funny is my favorite player of all time never played for the New York Mets. My favorite player is actually Fred Lynn. He's a guy I love watching play and this, that, and the other thing. Through the Mets, it's been, it's been, a bunch of different, guys and stuff. Probably David Wright is one of the ones just being a homegrown kid, staying with the team. A lot of the other stars that we have, gotten, have been guys who have, come from other teams. So, so we'll see what happens. Thought Pete Alonso might be there, but who knows? Maybe now Mark Vientos, will be the next guy that I, get into and stuff.
So I've heard different people say that, like, what's the breakdown in New York? Because I know Chicago. Or how do you a per map? Who is a Mets fan? Who is a Yankees fan?
So a lot of it really is kind of the Long Island, Brooklyn, Queens, and Nassau and Suffolk County. That the whole Long Island. Typically, most of them were Mets fans. Because the Brooklyn Dodgers were there, and then the Giants were there, and there were some converts from those two teams who went to the Yankees. Because at that point, it was like, hey, you guys left. I'm never going to like the Giants and the Dodgers ever again. So that's that way. But typically, and then you had that. The Jets, because the Jets and the Mets shared Shea Stadium, so they were together. Then the Islanders came along, and then actually before the Nets kind of moved away, it's weird how the Nets are the one team who moved to New Jersey. They used to play on Long Island also, where the Islanders played. So a lot of times the guys, you were a Mets, Jets, Islanders, and Nets fan. It's funny. Nets moved to New Jersey, and everybody's like, screw them. The Giants and the Jets moved to New Jersey, and no one's like, screw them, So it was kind of weird, from that standpoint. But my dad was a Yankees, Giants, Rangers fan, and I was an Islanders, Mets, Jets fan. We both liked the Knicks, so it was interesting growing up. And there was no reason I wasn't like I did it because I didn't want to be like my dad and everything. When we went to games, we would go to Mets games and stuff on Long Island stuff. We wouldn't travel to the Bronx, or to where the Giants are playing or anything like that.
Very cool.
So New York is very interested in this divide, but I always have passion for both sides of the team, right? You want Aaron Rodgers back?
I'm literally I'm on the fence. To me, I'm gonna say yes, and here's the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you gonna put there if you don't?
Oh, it's rebuilding time.
Right. But the problem you have is you have the seventh pick.
Mm-hmm.
If you think Shador or Cam Ward is one of those guys, I personally do not. I don't think that they would. I don't necessarily know if there were more quarterbacks in this draft, if they would be considered the first and second picks of the draft. I think they'd be a little later. It might be a little different. But at 7, who are you going to get? There was people saying, oh, you should trade for J.J. McCarthy because Darnold is doing so well in Minnesota and so on and so forth. Okay, fine. But J.J. is coming back from a torn ACL. What are you doing with him? So even if you bring him, you need somebody else. So, because you don't have anybody. Now, if they believe, we shouldn't say it. We have Jordan Travis from FSU that they drafted in the 5th round. But I don't know. Everybody said, hey, he would have been the 3rd rounder if he didn't get hurt. Well, another guy coming back from injury. So, Rodgers, unless you're going to go ahead and completely dismantle, then yeah, okay, don't bring Rodgers back and find, somebody. But, it's tough. It's tough.
I think he's gone. I don't think he's coming. I don't think he's playing football again.
No, don't get me wrong. I think he is gone. I don't think he's done with football. And my only reason why I say is this. He's 3 or 4 touchdown passes behind Brett Favre. And I could see him being the egotistical son of a gun that he is, of going, you know what? I'm going to find some place to play so I can go ahead and move ahead of Brett Favre in the career touchdown passes. But I could see him walking away also. You know what I'm saying? I mean, from that standpoint.
I just wonder how many teams is calling his phone. I mean, I don't see too many teams calling the guy up who's 40 plus with a torn Achilles.
Yeah.
Who struggled all year, really physically moving around.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he did a little better. Had a little, towards the end of the year, he seemed to have a little more, mobility and stuff. But to your point, again, it's going like, okay, the Jets thought we were a quarterback away, and if he doesn't get hurt, I don't know. Who knows? Because you don't know how much that injury affected him at the beginning of this year also, right? So if he doesn't get hurt, who knows? But to your point, who's going to call up a guy who's going to be at some point next season will be 42?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So who's like you said, who's going to be picking up that phone going, hey, we're a quarterback away. Let's go get that guy.
And the quarterback will have to play in his system.
Right.
To me, the interesting thing is, where is Devontae Adams going? He's not coming back.
I don't think he'll come back either. I don't know. I mean, look, it wouldn't surprise me if he ends up at Kansas City somehow.
Yeah, probably.
He might be, hey, you know what? I might as well go ahead and try and get the ring and go to KC.
Probably so.
But I think, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, it's kind of weird. The owner has shown he's willing to spend some money, but what he has not shown is he's not smart enough to put the right people in place. Like I don't understand. They're interviewing head coaches. You don't have a GM. Why are you going to go ahead and do interview the head coach? Because if you hire a head coach, then what are you going to say? Hey, who do you want to be hire the general manager, then let him go ahead and go through that process.
It's almost like he wants to be Jerry Jones, but he doesn't want to be Jerry Jones in the public eye.
Yeah.
He's making decisions about this, that, and the other.
Unfortunately, Jerry Jones' light ain't working.
He's never getting up that power to be the GM and run everything in Dallas.
Yep.
So, Michael.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. What do you do on your YouTube show? Let's talk about that. Like, how would you describe what you do on YouTube, and how long have you been making content?
So I've actually been making content since probably 2017, 2018, probably in that time frame. But I started out, I had a different channel. So before I started selling, sports guys, before I kind of reselling more of sports cards, I was reselling before on eBay since 2017. In the reselling, genre portion of it, I was known as the thrifting Goomba. That's who I was, from there. So making content over there. And then, kind of when my son got involved, when Mike got involved, we did a little bit on that channel for a little while. And then I guess it was, 2020, I think it was or so. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to look. We were like, hey, let's start our own channel. So we started our own channel. My channel really is more of ripping open packs and stuff as far as videos goes and everything like that. I'm going to be changing up some content there. Would do some breaks and so on and so forth to have that content, and then started a show with Anthony, who goes by Pittsburgh, called Collecting Profit. And Anthony and I had known each other in what I call the regular reselling world. He had a show. I had another show. Both of our shows, our partners went ahead and said, hey, screw you. We're not doing it anymore. And then once we and it was funny, not really knowing each was doing it, we kind of both moved over to sports cards, reselling at the same time. Then we started talking because, we were friends and stuff like that. And then we talked about, hey, let's do another podcast, Collecting Profit. And Collecting Profit is really about buying, selling, and talking about the hobby. That's, and then we've kind of added regular sports talk in there because it's kind of hard to talk about the hobby without talking about sports.
I've always thought that. I've always thought it.
It's so hard to talk about it when, you're saying, so kind of brought some more sports talk in, try and bring guests on. John has been on, I don't know how many times.
First podcast I ever did.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it was the first one.
Yep.
And we talk about everything. Wrestling, basketball, football, whatever. It's a laid-back show. Again, if I bring on a guest, we talk about different stuff and then really, get involved with the chat and stuff. So it's really it's a cool laid-back show. Love doing it. Done 100 and, I don't know, 5 episodes, 6 episodes, stuff like that. Every single week for the last, 106 weeks or 105 weeks have been, live during the week. Sometimes the day has had to shift because of things, but pretty much it's Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern.
So let's talk about sports and cards. A lot of things going on this week when it comes to sports. We got all the coaches getting fired this week on Black Monday. People in New York, I'm just thinking about the Giants, and they're keeping everybody.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand that with how much they've lost. Then you see teams like the Patriots, Oakland, immediately just getting rid of coaches after a year and not even, trusting the process or giving the process a chance to, get in play. So what jobs do we think is desirable for head coaching in NFL?
What teams are really desired? Like
what head coach? If you're going to be a head coach, what job would you covet?
As much as I hate them, New England, you got a quarterback. Do you
have a quarterback?
Drake May. I mean, you have, I think he's shown enough for you to go ahead and give him a shot to go, you're going to go ahead. You had the 3rd pick. You're probably going to end up with Travis Hunter. Oh, no, wait. Yeah. You have
the 7th, 8th pick.
New England has, they moved to the 8th pick?
Yeah,
that's right. The Giants have the 3rd pick. Well, then guess what? No, New England ain't desirable anymore.
Well, when I look at Drake May, I see Mac Jones. I just see a person evolve into Mac Jones. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see.
I don't know.
I can understand why they got rid of Mayo after 1 year. Something is going on there that has nothing to do with football.
I'll tell you what it is. It's the Jets, and this is what I truly believe. I really do. I really, really do. I think it's the Jets' interest in Mike Vrabel. I think Robert Kraft is saying, how could I let that New England legend go ahead and end up on the Jets sidelines, and all of a sudden he brings them back to relativity while I'm down also. I'm and maybe it's not, maybe it's just the Jet fan in me thinking.
I think you have a good point.
Yeah, I have a good point. So I don't feel bad for any coach that got fired because their contract's still guaranteed. They're gonna get paid regardless, whether they So it's not like if I get fired, where's my next meal coming from? They good either way, but at the same time, like you look at a Dan Campbell, who everybody's ready to get rid of after the from a media standpoint after the first introduction. They was like, who is this guy wanting to bite off kneecaps? What is this? And 3 years later, 2 years later, they in the playoffs. 3 years later, they're a 14-win team, #1 seed. And it's like, what happened to? Hey, we signed this contract 3 years. Let's see if this works, and can you make these changes when you're given a bad team? He was 0-16-1 his first season.
Yeah,
nobody was like, "Oh, fire him," but being from New England, a guy like Mayo, after the second and third loss, everybody was ready to get rid of him. So there's something else going on in that building. I think Vrabel's a good coach. But you got the Titans chose the GM over Vrabel. Later got rid of the GM. Like, how many bad decisions are these owners making, or whoever's deciding to be the consultant to make these decisions on who to fire and not give people?
You know, I would like to know, out of all the teams that have you know, availability, and now that I think about it, let's face it, you know, talent wise, the Bears have got to be the number one destination for anybody with the quarterback, with the wide receivers and stuff like that, in my opinion. I mean, you know, I think from that standpoint. But I'm curious, out of the ones that have gotten fired, gotten let go, how many of those owners are directly involved, you know, on a regular basis, or do they like, you know what, I own the team, I have football people. Football people handle football. I wonder how many are like that there, because I wonder if that has something to do with it. Owners, you know, if the owner thinks he needs to be in charge of every single thing and making sure that, like a Jerry, maybe they all want to be Jerry Jones deep down inside.
I think they really do, because Jacksonville's owner said some wild stuff the other day.
Oh yeah,
if he's really hands-on with football. So
yeah, he said in a conference call with the current head coach that the new GM wanted to fire the coach, he would fire him to hire the new GM.
He's probably not even aware that his coach is on this call.
Right.
He's just doing his thing. But most of these guys and young ladies have owned businesses.
Right.
They've been the head of the snake. They run stuff. They talk about this. They do that. And they've built a career of not knowing some things, but probably speaking on them. So why would football be different? Another business, another entity that I'm running. So
yeah, no, I agree. I don't think it is, and I you know, like I said, I honestly, you know, I wonder. I don't, you know, but to your point, John, is I don't necessarily know it's if which one is desirable. It may be which one is going to let me coach and do what I got to do. That may be the one that becomes the more. It might, you know, we may think that New Orleans is not, you know, maybe a good destination, but if there's a guy who says, hey, you know what, I talked to them and, you know, they're going to let me do what I want to do. They're going to let me run the, you know, let me run it the way it needs to be run. Let me coach what I want to coach. And then all of a sudden, you know, that becomes the best situation because the owner, everybody's kind of, you know, walking the same line. But
who's the MVP in the NFL?
Lamar Jackson.
Well, and why would anyone? This is what I don't understand. Think someone else is MVP?
Because Lamar's won 2, and they say maybe he shouldn't win. I don't know. I mean, you know, it might be the way, you know, it was talked about. It's the Charles Barkley winning the MVP. You know, during Michael's heyday, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, from that standpoint, it's like, hey, people are tired of, you know, Patty Mahomes, are tired of, you know, Lamar Jackson being the guys at the top. Somebody else has to. I think that's wrong. I mean, I don't know how you could look. The dude has done something that's never been done before.
That's right.
There's no discussion. When you do something that's never been done before and it's at that level, done, over with. Playoffs don't matter. I don't want to hear, well, you know, Lamar's, you know, doesn't do it. It doesn't make a difference. You're not MVP to playoffs. You're the MVP of the regular season.
I just don't understand it. Maybe it is because people are sick of who that player is, but I mean, look what this guy's doing.
You know, I would say sick of that player, but more importantly, I think people in media have been ready to appoint Josh Allen since he was drafted. Right? He's this big arm, big 6'4", 6'5" guy with this big arm that can take hits. I think he's always been talked about in a light of he's going to be the next great quarterback. And since it hasn't happened, this is the year where you can, like, numbers wise, he should be the MVP. But you look at those numbers compared to Lamar Jackson, then even compared to what Joe Burrow ended up doing this season.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not heads and toes above everybody.
No. No, definitely, definitely for sure. I mean, if he's not unanimous, then that person who doesn't choose him as number one should have his vote, revoked. Shouldn't be that person should not be able to vote anymore. You cannot look at these 18 weeks, and at the end of the day, say somebody is better than Lamar. Not in my opinion.
Totally agree.
Not in my opinion.
So did you all watch WWE last night? I didn't catch.
Oh yeah.
Oh heck yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeet.
Yeet.
What did you all think of that?
That was a show. Like that was more production than their pay-per-views or PLEs. Like every match took 30 minutes to start. Like the pre-match production with entrances, promos. So they waited for Jey Uso's entrance, having Travis Scott, having the drones fly in the entrance, and all the crowd being over. Future World Champ Jey Uso, just saying. That was a show. Like the production level was well above what you're used to from a regular Raw. It was well above what you're used to from paying for a pay-per-view. And they went all in. They brought out Undertaker. They brought out Hulk Hogan. People who like Hulk Hogan. But The Rock was there. Cena was there. You had all the big names. And the regular roster was there in attendance as well in the crowd. And they did a good job of highlighting that, hey, next week you're going to see these people. And you're going to see those people. These women are going to wrestle next week. This match is still going on next week. So they did a good production for only having 4 matches, and they kept it like 3 hours.
Yeah, to me it was good, not great. I didn't, my dumbass, like I did not go ahead and expect. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect commercials.
I didn't expect commercials either.
I didn't. I was like, what the hell do you mean it's a commercial? What the hell? I think in my opinion, if I would have known there were going to be commercials to me, or if they would have known, I don't know how they would have did it, but to me, the first the matches, because they only had 4 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The matches should have been commercial free. They should have figured other ways to work commercials in, or have picture in picture at least. To go ahead and have a match going on, and before they go to commercial, somebody's outside the ring and someone else is and they're getting beat up, and then all of a sudden you come back, and the person who was outside the ring getting beat up, they are now going ahead, and they're the one in control of the match, and they're in the ring. It's like, what the hell happened? From that standpoint,
it was only picture in picture. It was only commercials in America. Everywhere else was not commercial free.
Yeah, every place else commercial free. United States, you guys get commercials. I understand The Rock coming out. I understand. I mean, it made sense and everything, but how do you throw that much praise for Cody when in one event you did when the bloodline helped them and stuff? So I don't know. I mean, I know it was corporate Rock, then he shouldn't have come out with the belt. Overall, like I said, I mean, good show, but what happens to the bloodline now? What happens next? Supposedly, for instance, when Undertaker came out, there's reports that was supposed to be Becky and Charlotte was supposed to come out at that point.
Yeah.
And
the Rock babyface turn was basically because he has to do reshoots for Moana. So his schedule is not free as they thought it was. He's got to do reshoots.
Okay.
So
makes sense.
I mean, I think Roman winning was the right decision.
Yep.
I think Jay winning was the right decision because everybody who won was the right decision. And I can't wait to see Cody, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens crash out. It's going to be hilarious.
It is. Are they the new the new Shield? Are they the new, the Shield, Shield type of thing? Are they going to take on,
the crash out big three?
They're going to take on, that type of a role. I don't know. Like, to me, I don't know. I guess we got to wait and see, like, what happens to the bloodline now?
I don't know what happens to the bloodline 2.0. I don't know what happens to the old bloodline either, because you got Jay in his own lane. Jimmy and Sammy are doing, off things. So they got to interest how to bring it all together. But I think that's going to be the fun of it is does everybody fall back in line?
If they do, what are you going for then? Is Roman then really the guy who's going to go after Cody?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think this event it was used for any kind of storyline stuff. I think they looked at it as it was, to your point, John, was like a one step below a PLE, type thing, but it had that type of a feel, to it, and you were watching it and so on and so forth. But there were some things that I thought were very interesting. There were a lot of empty seats on the floor. I don't know if you noticed that when you were watching. And
there
then
were a lot, hard camera side, there were a lot of empty seats.
And then it was funny watching the reaction of when they got thrown, when the wrestlers were out of the ring on that the camera side, the people were just standing up like clapping like this. It's like, it's like, okay, so you're the corporate people. They put the corporate people on that side because that's all they would do. They're like, oh yes, woo, yes. You didn't see the fan, come out, from that standpoint.
I don't think you had a lot of. It was in LA, and this big event, and Netflix. I think you had a lot of corporate people to make sure we fill some seats courtside, ringside. But overall, I enjoyed it, and I think they gotta get some rules and regulations because they could have had a big fiasco with the Travis Scott thing, him coming down smoking.
Yeah,
like. And Triple H addressed it afterwards.
And he was walking down. Now I know he can walk down with a drink, but he was still walking down when that wasn't open. But he still had a beer in his hand.
Yeah, but one point you're smoking with little children on the house.
You're right.
Right, and if Jay would have get past that to me, we could have had a big incident. So
yep.
He was actually professional enough to focus on what task with hand was for the match. That could have been a big we got issues right off the bat, and to deal with Triple H. But I think it was good. Did you watch any of it, FD? Or
I didn't get a chance to catch any of it. I did not.
It's always on demand on Netflix.
Yeah,
FD is not really in the WWE.
Okay, things change.
But what do you
think about to see what they do with Cena? Cena, the storyline for Cena this year, that's going to be very interesting.
The thing I do like about this Triple H regime is that things seem more fluid as what can happen. And I think after Mania, after Royal Rumble, you'll get some ideas of what's actually going to happen.
Yep. Royal Rumble, and then you have Elimination Chamber. Once they get past that first weekend in March, you'll really have, I think you'll have some things set up for a little long term.
Yeah, and I think they got some interesting tops now cards out of last night. You have
I have to go look at some of those.
The one-on-one. This is the one-on-one Cena. I'm sharing right now from his sock relic.
Oh wow!
Vet auto. This is the regular, and then.
Yeah, when they got the 5 card is $50, man.
Yeah. I don't know, paying $50 for 5 base cards.
I know, that's the bad part.
You have the CM Punk Go to Sleep one-on-one relic from the mat. So you have that. And I believe, let's see, it's not up here. They don't have.
You would think they have to have a Rock putting the Ulafala on Roman as a card.
They have the handshake as a one-on-one card.
Ah, man, that should have been. Well, maybe they. No. All right, that's okay.
I did catch a lot of people talked about that Hulk Hogan was booed.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, he got yeah. I have a funny feeling that was probably supposed to go a little bit longer, but I think he went ahead and cut it short. But it had nothing to do with him. I mean, everybody know. I mean, he got booed for specific reason. It had nothing to do with him. People were like, "Oh, people were booing him because that was supposed to be Penta." Penta was supposed to debut and like that. It's like, yeah, no, wasn't the reason.
You got to say people say they were booing him because it's political stuff. Like, nope, that ain't the reason either.
Yeah, no.
I just wonder, did him and Rock have a conversation backstage? So that'd be the interesting.
It's possible. It's possible. I don't know. I mean, I think I don't know. It is what it is. It's going to be interesting to see how it's going, goes forward. It was interesting, that you were able to hear the chants and stuff like that, when the fans were doing the FU solo, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they let that go through where you wouldn't have heard that kind of stuff. It's going to be interesting. To your point, I think who won was supposed to win. Gave Punk that, that, hey, he could say, hey, I won the main event at the first ever, Netflix show and so on and so forth.
I was surprised that was the main event and not Tribal Combat. That was the biggest surprise.
Me too. I thought that was going to be the opening match.
Yeah.
From that, I thought that was going to be the opener. Or honestly, with the pop, you could have seen Drew being it with the. I mean.
Yep. The star power for that one. So
I've been a fan. I've been watching it when it was the WWW, when it was the 3 W's NNF. It was the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. And I remember I got to stay up late. My mom and dad were out. The babysitter, that's how young I was. I was probably 8 years old, 9 years old, maybe. We still had babysitters. And let me watch TV, and I turned on wrestling. And the first guy I ever saw wrestle, I don't remember who he wrestled, but it was the guy called the Mighty Igor. And I just got hooked, and I've been a fan, ever since and stuff like that, So, I don't know if there's ever been, someone as over as Jay is with the crowd in the history that I've been watching.
So we got LP in the chat, A Collector's Dream, Machado, Fireball. Nice to have you guys with us.
It was nice to see, as he says, Tippy time.
Yes.
It was nice to see that finally happen.
Yep.
That was teased for a long enough time. It was good to go ahead and see that part go ahead and and happen and stuff. So yeah, it's
I'm gonna be happy that we're gonna have new people participating in the WWE part of the hobby, but I'm not gonna be happy with people chasing these top chromes for this Rock one-on-one smell it card. And I still don't understand, and after you help me understand this, why is Travis Scott the main attraction everywhere right now? I don't understand it.
I don't get it.
He was at Fanatics. Fest. He's got his own.
He probably doesn't even get it. He probably doesn't even understand.
I know when you listen to Triple H talk afterwards in the things. He's like, oh, all these guys, that are coming, him, Bad Bunny, all these other guys, they were all big fans. So this is, great for them and stuff. They're just happy to be involved. So,
well, Bad Bunny's a big fan. He put on some amazing matches, but I just don't understand what are you going to do with a Travis Scott. But we'll see. All right.
Oh, LP says industry plant. He went deep with it. Machado says Travis Scott got motion, Big Jon.
I don't think he got motion, but I don't get it. Maybe because he's just not my type of music.
Maybe he's like ultimately available.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that, and I think, let's face it, is also eyeballs. Like, like Jordan says, he has a great following. If you have massive numbers on TikTok and IG and all this other kind of stuff, and you post that you're going to be doing something, you bring a whole bunch of new set of eyeballs that might go ahead and just, decide to watch. And who knows how many of them you go ahead and keep.
LP says, look up Astro World.
Heard it. Only like a couple songs. I'm not saying nothing against Travis Scott. I'm just saying he's the person they're using to connect with the urban area, basically. Yeah. And I just I don't get it.
Well, like Jordan says that, big
Top
collab
with Jordans.
Yeah, with the Jordans.
Like he's everywhere.
Yeah.
No.
Brendan, I did see Gorilla Monsoon wrestle. Yes, I did see him.
I did. And my first wrestler was Dick the Bruiser.
Oh, wow.
That episode. So yeah, Big Jon would never know this, but when WrestleMania 1, 2, and 3 happened.
He's too damn young.
Yeah, right. When WrestleMania 1, 2, and 3 happened, I was a huge fan of wrestling.
Yeah. But that was when they were doing the closed circuit and they had it, in the different arenas and everything. Oh, yeah. Man.
Mr. T got involved.
Yep. Yeah. Liberace.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff.
Big Jon's like, what y'all talking about?
Yeah. No, I've seen them all. I've seen them all. Don't you understand? I started watching wrestling with my grandma.
Oh, you.
You ain't telling me nothing I don't know. I know the history.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But then they went to the stadiums where they had that Shea Stadium, and they had Andre the Giant against what was the guy, Inoki, whatever his name was from.
That Junkyard Dog was the bomb.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my day. I mean, after that, I kind of faded off. Best era was 80s. Just saying. I came back in with The Rock. I followed The Rock for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of Hulk Hogan when he went in NWO, but never got like the old.
It's funny. What I love the part is people are like, it's not real and everything. And you're like, oh, you mean like, you mean kind of like movies? You mean kind of like soap operas?
Almost like the NFL.
And it's like, look, it's good, wholesome, and it's not wholesome anymore, but I mean, it's just good entertainment. You take it for what it's worth. I remember my son invited some friends over, and one of them was, the valedictorian of his class and everything. He's kind of looking at TV going, I don't get it. What the hell's going on with you guys? And it's like, dude, you just take it for what it's worth. You laugh, you cheer, you just take it for what it's worth.
He couldn't take that valedictorian hat off.
He was like, I just don't get it.
Yeah, he was like,
how could that happen? If a guy did that to someone in real life, do you understand what kind of that would do to his head or his back? Yeah, I do. And and most of these guys are not going to be walking regularly. Yeah, most of these guys are not going to be walking straight up in a few years. They're all going to be hunched over.
Yeah, Ernie Ladd,
Ernie the Cat Ladd, former NFL player. Wahoo McDaniel.
Yeah. You know what I love? What I love to show people when they say wrestling is fake. I love to show them when Braun Strowman stiffed Brock Lesnar and Brock Lesnar punched him back for real. It's what. So.
Oh wow! There's a pre-order on John Cena Funko Pop.
Big Jon, you ready?
Ooh.
I might have to go get that.
Ooh.
I gotta see them somewhere over behind me. Chat, no, I got Funko Pops over there behind me. I got something. If I like it, I got something of you.
Mm-hmm.
Get with Panini losing the license, and everybody's recruiting flawless right now. There's some nice patches coming out, some nice autos. But I'm definitely looking forward to the Topps Chrome coming out, and I think it's gonna be like the release this week, where you're gonna be able to buy it, but it won't be in hands for like a month or two later. So,
yeah, I mean, hopefully they do a good job with it. Hopefully they make it plenty of it. Well, they're going to make plenty of it. I shouldn't say that, but hopefully they have it readily available, in all formats for people who want to go ahead, and collect it or open it, whatever it may be. From that standpoint, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I mean, they really haven't done much for baseball. I mean, Fanatics, it really hasn't. They haven't done anything spectacular in their designs or anything like that. So, you're not going to get flawless. You're not going to get, that stuff. That stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do from a design perspective.
Big Jon, got a question for you.
No Kalani cards at the moment.
I don't think she has any.
So she has some in Select
and
Prism. She has some autos, and they look nice.
Ah.
She's just not on my list of what I'm collecting. I just got a big consignment order just came out from PSA, but it's Kalani, Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, Jada Parker, Obi Femi, Trick Williams, Lola Weiss, Hunso Ruka. They're all have fandom, but I think you can get them cheaper in 6 months because they're not going to be on Netflix or on USA anytime soon.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they get these young athletes who were not wrestlers, that were gymnasts and stuff like that. They're doing seem to be doing a good job so far. It'll be interesting to see how they progress. With the rest of them, because Sol Ruka was a gymnast. Jordan,
Kalani, Tiffy.
Yeah, Tiffy. I mean, Tiffany. She has shown, what she could do. It'll be interesting to see what some of these other young, the NIL, basically like NIL kids that they are grabbing right out of college, and putting them, in developmental.
Machado has a question. Who was the wrestler that slammed Floyd Mayweather?
Big Show.
Yeah.
But he legitimately broke Big Show's nose. Punched him with brass knuckles, setting up a WrestleMania fight, and punched him for real and broke his nose.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But again, like what are they going to do? Like what is Topps Fanatics going to do with the wrestling cards and stuff? Like I said, obviously they're going to have patches. They're going to have autos. It's just going to be interesting to see what kind of designs they do. Is it just the chrome and and they just slap make it a little bit thicker and slap a piece of the ring and stuff like that. So who knows?
Have you seen the new Topps Chrome W cards coming out?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I like them. I think I think they've done they've done a good job and everything. To me, it's just one of those things. Like I said, you have from a wow factor of what it looks like. We've dealt with flawless and stuff like that. And a lot of those cards, they look they're just nice, clean stuff, and it's going to be interesting to see what we get.
More Travis Scott in that chrome, Big Jon?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that. And everything.
I think WWE cards jump the shark when they get a Logan Paul auto in them. I just think when they get massively popular because you're gonna have influencers, flippers, and everybody trying to go at it to get.
Are you saying what word did you say after influencers?
Huh? Flippers.
Oh, okay. I thought you said something else. I thought you said strippers. I was gonna say what? What the hell are they gonna get involved for?
They might need an NIL deal.
Next level. Next level.
So that's what I'm afraid of. I think it's gonna be like Pokemon now, right? You got everybody excited about this prismatic Pokemon because they're seeing the value go up on these sealed boxes.
Yep.
And I think once you get like Logan Paul and that following, you're gonna be people, and massively artificially increase the value of these cards of a chance to hit this Logan Paul auto.
Does he have cards right now?
No.
See, his first card should be in a G.I. Joe outfit. That thing will go. You won't. I mean that thing will go bananas.
Mm-hmm.
You put him in a G.I. Joe outfit on his first card.
Maybe have him inscribe Go Joe.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Shout out, got all the collabs coming.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, that's what Fanatics does, right? I mean, are we gonna, they've done it. They've done it in the past. It'll be interesting. You look at what they do, right? They put they put people in different sets and throw them out there. You had the whole when it came to the baseball stuff. You had the hobby influencers who got cards and stuff like that. It may be if they're looking at WWE, it's more entertainment. Throw some entertainment people, in the mix.
I mean, he's actually good in the ring, which is the crazy part.
Yeah.
Hey, do you think there'll be a third year of hobby influencer cards?
Yeah, you can get the email. I'm getting one. You're getting one. Huddle's getting one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say, I think it will, but then, it's like, I don't know.
Rough?
I was going to say, there's not many, left who didn't. You're going to have to start to go more of the, do you look at the big, do you look at the big breaker type guys to throw them in there and stuff? And the people who people think ruin the hobby, you throw them in there.
I just always wonder why they didn't put a set like that into Ginter, Allen and Ginter. Why put it in Pro Day?
And especially when most of those guys weren't baseball guys.
Right. We put them in Ginter when you have all the celebrities in it.
Yeah.
Put it in Ginter.
Yeah. None of those guys were very few of them were baseball guys, and they put them in. So I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be interesting.
Very much so. So Saquon Barkley chose not to run Week 18 to break a major record. We know Mike Evans still played, tied a major record. Why are players? I think about Damian Lillard. There are many we can name throughout time. Why are players so loyal to teams? What is that? I'll never understand it.
I don't know. I think it's I think it's maybe just their own little mindset, of when they have gone ahead, that how they would maybe brought up and along those type of things. I don't think you see it very often. I don't know how many of them truly, are loyal per se, to their teams. I think there are. I just think that number is. I think that number is smaller than what we really think it is. It's just like they always say, right? When they say it's not about the money. Well, guess what? We know now it is about the money.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I think when you look at like D Rose, right, and what the love the city has for D Rose in Chicago, I think the love you get from the city makes you want to be loyal to the team because you're not being loyal to the team, but the fans that you play for. That's the only thing I can really come down to it. With Barkley, I think self-preservation, their record would be nice. What I really hate is that people who say, "Oh, he would have broke the record, but it took an extra game." It took Dickerson extra games. It took OJ extra games. The season gets longer.
Right.
But the thing to me, I think about is that Barkley didn't get that record. He's probably not going to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
What you holding out for?
Yeah, to me, I would have been one of those things where I would have been like, "Hey, coach, no, I'm playing. I don't, no, you're not, this has." Yes, I understand about the whole team concept. Here's what we want to do. You want me to rest? No problem. First quarter, there's only one play that we are running. The guy turns around and he hands me the ball. When I get my 102 yards or whatever it is,
yes,
I'll take my helmet off and I'll walk. I'll go right.
You probably could have had the record by halftime.
But you had the whole offense didn't play. Like half the offensive line starters didn't play.
Oh.
The receivers. Huh?
We look at the Chargers. We look at other teams. These teams are playing.
I think that if Barkley would have wanted the record, I think you would have had the starters play at least a half.
Well, that's cool. I don't understand why they're not playing anyway.
I just don't know why he would. I just don't know as the athlete how that's a different type of record.
Yes,
that's
years.
Yeah, that's a different type of record. I mean, hell, think about it. How the hell does Adrian Peterson end up 8 yards short?
I don't get it, man.
What the hell are you? No, let's go. It was just, and you look at what, Tampa Bay did. They made sure they ran out there. They got Evans the ball. Boom, thank you very much.
Yes.
And did what they had to do and stuff.
Yeah, but they weren't in the playoffs. They weren't playing for the playoffs. They had nothing secured.
Yeah,
all you had to play for was to get him his money.
But there are teams this weekend that were going to the playoffs that are playing people.
Yeah.
That's just that coach and that team that said we're not going to do that.
Right.
But
didn't Pittsburgh play all that? Yeah. Didn't Pittsburgh play all their guys?
Yes. I just hate to see a guy don't get a record that's 40 years old and you could have it and you don't have a ring. Then what are you doing? And your coach may bounce at any time and go someplace else. So there's a loyalty. Like we got this fake sense of I'm sacrificing for something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think like Machado said, I think it was the politics of it, and Jordan says but do you respect them for sitting over playing? I mean, I guess you can. I don't know, man, but I know to me.
I don't know. When I turn those pages of football history,
yeah,
I'm not gonna see that thing. I don't know what. No, kids 15 years from now, they want to know what we're talking about right now.
Yep.
So we're talking about Dickerson. And Dickerson sitting back chilling. He loved that.
Oh yeah, especially after he came out and trashed him, and then he heard about it, and he kind of was took a different thing. But I mean, you think about it, it's almost like the bowl game stuff for college, right? Dion said to his son, which is a different thing, but he said to even to what's his name, the Hunter, you're gonna play.
Yep.
You're not your ass ain't sitting. You're gonna play and stuff, and all these other ones where these guys they're like nope, done, and they're jumping in the portal and doing all this other kind of crap and everything. It's like you want the school to be loyal to you. Why are you disrespecting them that way also? So
and also I saw that Colorado didn't put Travis Hunter in a position to get injured. He ran certain routes, caught the ball in open space, got down when it was time to get tackled. He wasn't running across the middle. Right. I mean, there are things you can do to protect the players and make sure they're good to go.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And to Machado's point, with Hurts still being, if Hurts doesn't come out of concussion protocol, they're not. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know if they can win.
I think even with Hurts behind center with no concussion protocol, they're not winning the Super Bowl. I don't see that.
They might not even get out of the first round if he can't play this week.
Yes. Philly is shaky, people. Philly's pretty shaky. History over everything. To be in the history books is forever. Shame on Eagles and Barkley.
Yep.
Just a philosophy. Every team, organization, business has a different philosophy. They express theirs. Who started not playing before playoffs? I do not know.
I'm not sure. That's a really good. I mean, yeah.
Chiefs versus Lions. Chiefs are not going to be there, Machado.
Lions won't be there.
Well, damn sure the Chiefs won't be there.
I think the Chiefs have played. The whole thing of they were trying to say, "Hey, man, we've gone ahead and played so many close games. We know what it's going to be like in the playoffs." Yeah, but the problem you have is they had what I think 10 games this season or more that were one score or less. Yeah, playoffs. That's one bet. That's one tip ball. That's one, penalty call that goes the wrong way, and you're done.
Yeah, but they playing 14 on 11. So
stop it with the whole referee thing for crying out loud.
Oh, the refs looking out.
Yeah.
Listen.
What's part of my check, man?
That's right. What we got, Machado? I think so. FD, I'm taking your take to the sports book. Take it. Get paid.
Yeah.
Just cut me off a little something. It's all good. Yeah, y'all want to talk about Fox Sports?
Yeah, let's get into this. What's going on?
What's happening?
Well, I heard something today, and it was very, very interesting. I forgot who was talking about it, on what show, what it was, but they said the whole Skip Bayless thing. The number just sounds too damn fake. 1.5 million? Are you serious? I mean,
let me just say this though.
That's like 10% of his net worth, though.
I put eyes on probably half of that 42-page document.
Yeah.
Everything else in there was detailed. And people have said that this young lady has a history of being extremely detailed. I've never seen documents that are this detailed. So if this is this detailed, how could the 1.5 be out of bounds?
My biggest take is that the reason why this lawsuit comes down is because they fired him.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
This is the only reason.
Yeah, I mean she's a single mother. She has a kid. She was trying to, manage her household. She brought things to HR. She brought things to Joy Taylor.
Mm-hmm. Who's her friend.
Yeah.
Who's her friend. And then from what I understand from listening to Marcellus Wiley, who worked there, and other people who worked on other shows, is that there's always a relationship between the talent and the hairdresser. You see each other every day.
Mm-hmm.
You're face to face. Start talking about. I mean, when I go to my barber, if I have a regular barber, I'm talking about my family. They know my kids before they even grow up.
We talking about work. We talking about family. What's going on?
Everything.
I'm in your chair for 30 minutes every month. We talk. Imagine you're in that chair for 30 minutes every day.
I'm about 5 days a week. I'm up in there making sure you look right when you go to that camera, and we're just sitting and talking. So Skip might have threw out 1.5. I don't know.
I mean,
it's a crazy number though.
It is a crazy number, from that standpoint. And then, and Whitlock, Whitlock said that, he did the first show with Joy, and then he went to, then he goes, nope.
I gotta stay away. So last night I watched.
Okay, that's like me saying I gotta stay away from Holly Berry. I ain't never getting close. Like Joy,
like Whitlock.
Whitlock, you tripping?
And he was,
honey, and wife don't kill me.
He was saying some stuff that I was like, this dude's gonna regret what he's saying right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whitlock.
I don't
like every other person. Every other person in his comments was like, Whitlock, you didn't have a chance, bro. What are you talking about? Joy Taylor, though. Acho.
Yeah, I was gonna say Acho. Well,
But Joy Taylor, you just lost all credit. True or false? This also all credibility.
She didn't have it before, though, bro. Her resume is She was a
Bartender.
nightclub- bartender.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Miami. Goes to Miami radio,
Mhm.
and then she's on Undisputed. Like, you don't make that jump. She moved to LA, left her husband in Miami.
She
It
didn't
was-
leave her husband.
No, he was still in Miami.
I was like, the husband left her because
Yeah.
took him on a couple's date,
Yes.
and the husband was like, you ain't fooling me. This ain't right.
Like,
Something ain't right.
What's going on around here? Then her next fiance, about to be husband, caught wind in 2018 of what the situation is, and I guess they're saying that they paid this gentleman off allegedly by paying for the wedding that never happened. It's just a lot going down, but it answers a lot of questions because I've always thought, how the hell is Joy Taylor doing all this? How did Acho? If you remember, Marcellus Wiley was on his way up. He had been at ESPN.
Yep.
He went to Fox Sports. He was moving. And then Acho just came in, and he's on every show. And Marcellus Wiley is doing independent stuff now. Like, how does all this happen?
Yeah.
Now it starts making sense.
And you've always heard Marcus Wally hint at some funny stuff with Acho in the background, and never come out and say it.
Yep. Very, very interesting.
Well, then the funny thing was, all this stuff started coming out, and what was it, Sunday morning or whenever it was, Saturday or Sunday or anything, and Acho, who is usually all over Twitter, on Sunday with the games and everything,
silent,
gone,
delete.
And then he goes back and takes down the Instagram post from 2022 August.
Yep.
Now you got to Big John. You got to go through some feeds. Get back down 3 years ago.
Heck yeah,
that man was searching.
Oh yeah. It's, I mean, she's still doing her show, I think, right? Or
she was on yesterday. She was on today.
Is her show recorded or is it?
No, it's live.
But her energy level seems a little different.
Oh, well. They was on in there like, you see, she covered up today.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she had sweat on. That was like, you didn't.
I don't watch the show.
Neither do I. Neither do I.
Well, it's her, it's Keyshawn, and it's Paul Pierce.
Yeah, who wants to hear that? I don't know. I can't listen to them. I can't listen to Paul Pierce and I can't do that. Keyshawn and Paul Pierce together? That's rough.
Yeah.
I think out of the lawsuit, you got to commend the people who are not in the lawsuit. Callan Cowherd, Nick Wright, Shannon Sharp. The people she's been on shows with that are not mentioned. Like,
Shannon did go ahead and leave, though. Shannon did go ahead and leave.
Whitlock tried to drop some bombs saying that Shannon was friends with this makeup artist and may have influenced her to sue. So that's nothing. I don't know if that's, but I'll give it to Shannon. He's not really talking about it. I don't blame him.
And ain't got nothing to do with him.
No, I don't blame him.
But
to go back to this, Machado made a comment. Is all this why Taylor Rook's not on a 2-person pod with Joy anymore? A lot of people weren't watching that.
No.
They were not watching that. So I don't know. But there are some clips from that where Joy Taylor's talking about what she likes.
Mm-hmm.
So what did she say? She like she doesn't want to be attracted. She wants to laugh. And she wants some finances to be in the right place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, and her brother, pretty big, athlete in Miami, probably, helped her a little bit get, the foot in the door, old Jason Taylor, from that standpoint, so, but hey, I don't know. It's a very interesting situation now. I think it was who has said it, somewhere in the chat, and wait till now. It's like, okay, now everybody's waiting. All right, ESPN has to be next.
I just asked the question: why is all this different? Like, I feel like there's more stuff coming out about situations than ever before in a short amount of time. I mean, you got to think a year ago, Cat Williams blew up the world talking about stuff. Nobody, none of those people talked about, disputed anything he said.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. And then you carry over to now, people's careers are over if this stuff is legally found out to be true. If someone is convicted of something or has to pay an amount or whatever it may be, people's careers may be over for a duration of time.
Yeah, I can see Skip, but he's in his mid-70s, late 70s or something like that. I mean, I could kind of see him, keeping quiet and everything. But if you're Joy Taylor, I mean, there's some accusations going on about you. I mean, to me, to show up to work like nothing happened, anything.
I think you have to. I think her legal team. That's some truth. I feel like there's some truth here.
Probably.
And if that is the case, like, you got to keep your mouth closed. You got to come to work. And what do you like at work? People looking at you.
What's what I'm saying?
What do you like at work?
Is it one of those ones where are you doing your prep via Zoom and saying, okay, it takes me 20 minutes to get to the studio. I'm leaving 30 minutes beforehand. I'm going right through, and so I'll do my makeup at home. Don't worry about it. I'm good. I'm just gonna get in. I'm just gonna take a drink of water, and we're gonna go.
It's wild right now.
What the head of FS1 got to say something, don't he? Like,
no,
you looking into this or what?
No, I think you keep your mouth closed. And there are times that anything you say, and the way you say it, and how your face looks, and this and it becomes a problem for you.
Yeah,
that's why most people don't take the stand. That's why we have a trial. Most people don't take the stand. They can chop that up and make you look. Ooh. Like if he gets on and starts talking, and he says anything that later is not the truth.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You just, I don't know. You do what you got to do. You get through, and hopefully it doesn't become as big. Do you do the, hey, start paying some money and stuff like that, and to make it go away and stuff?
So this was my question. Had anybody approached the makeup artist about keeping this low and paying her ahead of time, or did she just stand on principle? She had to. I can't, because before you file paperwork, there's wind of that. FS has a whole lawyer team, right? They have to know that this is coming, and someone had to have reached out to her to say, would this dollar amount make this go away? And she had to say no.
Right. If she wouldn't take $1.5 million from Skip, then she definitely stood by her principles and is really going ahead. And there's probably not going to be anything, unless it's one of them, stupid, things. From that standpoint.
I think she's 10 toes down.
But
very interesting people. Everything we see as far, we talked about ratings at ESPN is down. I'm pretty sure Fox Sports since Shannon left is probably struggling. And now this happens.
I think it's, I wonder, good point. Like, I wonder what are the ratings on some of these things and stuff like that. Are people, how much does a Whitlock get on his, show on YouTube, and versus whatever time it is, what's going on there and stuff. I mean, it's definitely, things change. We saw that, in other areas where the podcasters and the I don't want to call them independent, I guess in a way, independent journalists, are doing their thing on, YouTube or X and stuff like that. And people would just rather go ahead and, and go there.
I'll tell you this, more people want to hear conversations like we're having right now than to watch something that was created in the green room. And now I'm acting it out in front of you. Yeah. People are not ignorant. They know what's going on, who's talking about the real deal and who is not.
Yeah.
They know.
Listen, you look at YouTube, you look at Netflix, they're throwing people real money to get content.
Oh yeah,
right. You got somebody like Drewski doing a whole show on YouTube that he tried to pitch to networks. They weren't having it.
Right.
We have all these streaming services has become the new cable.
Yeah.
Right. You get cable, you get X amount of streaming services for free.
Well, look
That's
at
why
McAfee.
you have it.
McAfee went to ESPN. They tell him to kick rocks. He goes and builds his own studio, does his thing his way, comes out with a sleeveless T-shirt on.
Yeah.
What's more real? What's realer than that?
Yeah.
A dude comes out to play the NFL with a sleeveless T-shirt on and starts breaking stuff down to you. And now ESPN wants him back.
Yeah.
This is
and
how
now he's everywhere.
Yeah.
He's a WWE. He's on,
Game Day.
Different Game Day. He still has his own show. He's doing things. He brings, Aaron Rodgers on. He brings AJ Hawk all of a sudden. Now all
AJ Hawk popping up. Yeah.
The other guys and everything. It's just, I guess that's where people are going if they're not watching the other stuff. But the thing that gets me is you look at when some of these shows are on and stuff, same type of thing, at least, ESPN, if you're somewhere, you could, it's usually on if you're out and about, any kind of restaurant, anything like that, no matter what type it is, doesn't have to be a sports restaurant, any kind of restaurant, this and another thing. It's when are those places going to start streaming, the YouTubes, the Netflixes, the other stuff that, and get away from that type of TV work, that type of TV, showing to their customers. CT ESPN. Oh, CTN. That's AJ Brown. That's AB, right?
AB, yeah.
Man, he says some funny. Him and he seems to have teamed up with Le'Veon Bell. Between the two of them, man, they say some crazy ass shit on X.
Le'Veon's to the point where I guess it's either do that or get knocked out. Right?
Yeah.
Very true.
Well, I think he knocked out Adrian Peterson, right? They go back and forth.
Yeah.
Oh, they say ESPN need Kai. Now that would be interesting.
Listen, Casanat has all of the 25 and under kids watching this stuff and watching the screens. Whenever he figures out what he wants to do for a show, he's got hundreds of millions of dollars waiting on him. Whatever he wants to do, it looks like Mr. Beast, right?
Yeah.
He's got a show on Amazon Prime now that he pitched to Netflix about, and they was like, no. And that thing's doing numbers on Amazon Prime because these other streaming services need content, and you have a following or the creator following.
Yeah,
I watched it the first 4 episodes. It wasn't bad. I enjoyed myself, and I actually started watching it because I was at the barbershop and they had it on.
No, you're right. It's becoming more of that type of thing. It's that built-in when they had that following and they moved to something else.
Mm-hmm.
They had that built-in audience to go with them.
True.
They have that. Logan Paul did it with WWE, right? He had that. He brings that audience, with him. All these guys, the younger, the streamers, and that when they want to do something different, you'd be foolish to have a guy, Mr. Beast, with 300 million, whatever the hell the number is. You'd be foolish to go, I'm just not sure that's going to work. You don't have to care if it works or not. The guy's going to maybe bring, who knows how many hundreds and more eyeballs onto your service.
And I'm at the grocery store the other day checking out, and his candy is right there at the register.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people do, but you have people older than us telling these young stars no because they don't see it like that. And what's the old adage? If I had 100 people give me $1, I have $100. right? You
Yep.
got 300 million subscribers. You get 300 million subscribers. Give your daughter, you got $300 million.
True.
You know, and like so you at some, and it costs networks more money. You see it with McAfee, not initially giving a vision a chance. It costs you triple now to get them years later when it's established.
But let's think about it. You have a whole team of writers, researchers, and all of that, and McAfee's coming in doing his own thing. He's wearing many hats.
Mm-hmm.
You have people sitting around him wearing many hats. What's the cost of that show per viewer now?
Much lower than running a regular TV show. Because you got to finance it to help. You got to wear more hats. You got to be. It's being an entrepreneur. You got to wear more hats because you got to be financially conscious of how much everything costs.
Did you watch Speed on the Shannon Sharp's podcast? Oh, Club Shannon. No, Speed was on there.
I haven't even watched Speed's episode yet.
Speed was talking about how he lived in his mama's basement, and he was doing content, and she put him out.
Mm-hmm.
She told him, "You gotta get a job that's not viable, young man." So he went to his dad's house, kept streaming, kind of started blowing up, showed the numbers to his mom. She was blown away.
Come back home, son.
Put him out.
Question about McAfee. Would he have been able to be where he is if he didn't go out on his own and start his own thing on YouTube or whatever? Of course, was he on something before YouTube?
I think he was just on YouTube.
Just like, right, would he have been the same Pat McAfee that we see today if he would have had to be pigeonholed starting on ESPN?
Mm-hmm. They're going to put him where they want him and tell him what he's going to do.
Yeah. You're going to sit him across from Stephen A, or they're going to bring him on as sit across from, SVP to give commentary on what he just thought about the football game and stuff like that. And all that,
You got to think, ESPN tried to limit Stuart Scott. Coolsy outside the pillow and all this kind of stuff and all these rap lyrics. They want to fire that guy. Now, if you take Stuart Scott, I say this all the time, and you drop him into, if he wanted to do that, and you dropped him into some kind of streaming situation, then Stuart Scott's blowing up.
Oh, he would definitely blow up. If he was still around, he would be off ESPN. He'd be on something, whatever it might be, and he would just, he'd have 100 million people watching him.
But
he
you
was
see people
he was
like
so cool.
Bomani Jones, successful after leaving ESPN. ESPN ain't the end all be all anymore. It's not the final spot to be in.
None of this stuff is like we talked before. We talked about College Game Day. That's the whole show has changed.
Yep.
Herb Street and all of them thought they were the bomb. They're not the bomb anymore on that show.
No. No, I think that's the point. I think that's why viewership and a lot of other things are going down from these other things, because people have realized, you know what? I want to see scripted as far as the topic, but I don't want to see scripted as far as the conversation goes.
That's right.
I want to let guys, girls, whoever it may be, show up and talk emotionally, however they feel about it. The scripted part is, hey, we're going to talk about X, but then once you start talking, it's all, it's pure emotion, right, talking about it, not a scripted thing of going, well, so and so, blah blah blah, and I thought that he played great. Oh, I don't think you're wrong. Oh, that's the good thing I like about what I think the streaming and and stuff like that we're doing. It's just you turn on the camera and you talk, and it's more real.
Yes, because you don't know what someone is going to say.
Right.
No one's tampered down. You don't know what is about to go down.
Yep. You got that right. When you're live, there's not a 7-second button.
And what I'm finding is the people that go to studios and do this in a traditional way, when they come to a live setting like this, they're not. A lot of them are not good at that. They don't know how to handle that. That's because you really have to wear different hats,
Yep.
That's the cool part to me. We need more entertainment like inside the NBA, TNT with Shaq and them. But that works.
Yes.
You got 3 guys who play basketball at a high level, and they know what they're talking about. But they're also relatable, and they can talk about anything under the sun. And they bring their natural comedy. It's almost like they're sitting at the lockers in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
One of the funniest conversations was sitting at a locker in the locker room and what people are actually talking about. And that's what they bring to the show.
Yeah.
And then you have Ernie, who's the consummate professional.
Yes.
You know, he keeps them all on.
And he also knows basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's he's the ringmaster, man. He just keeps the flow going and stuff like that. That's all, he doesn't, and they let them talk. They let Shaq go ahead and say, Chuck, I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna punch you in the face if you know that. And they let friggin' Shaq go ahead, and say, Chuck, how many of us up here that played the game won titles? Oh, that's right, only 2 of us. Like they let them go at it, which is good. It seems pure.
Yes.
They let them talk about a game that all 3 of them, even Ernie, all 4 of them love.
Mm-hmm.
And they let them talk about it and be honest about their, opinions. Whether, again, whether you like it or not doesn't, it's going to be up to you, stuff like that.
I feel like I've seen Ernie on a card. Big John, have you seen Ernie on the card? Michael? I feel like I have.
I'm checking right now.
I don't know.
Yes, Goodwin Champions. He has an auto.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes.
He has base auto. Yeah, go. Actually, not a bad price. $18.49.
John's got a new PC.
Listen.
These damn questions cost money.
Hey, listen, we don't know the answer. We just start looking cards up.
Hey, man, that's what you gotta do.
I haven't seen it before. So now, while we're speaking of
2023 Goodwin Champions, he's got a 2016 Ginter.
Okay.
So yeah, he's got a couple cards out there. 2023 Skybox Metals Universe. So he's in a couple sets. Got some autos.
Shadow says, "Huddle character." I'm crying. So now, while we're talking about Shaq, why does Shaq have so many issues with these current big men in the NBA?
I think because they take shots further than 5 feet from the basket.
Oh, they're not really down the pin. I think you have a great point.
I think it has to do. I think he looks at the way he played the game, and he's saying, you know what, that's not the way the center position is meant to be played and everything, which is, look, the game has changed and everything, but that's the only thing I can think of is that, he looks at it and he's from that standpoint.
And I think he also looks like a Rudy Gobert, and he's asking himself, why didn't I have more defensive players of the year, but you have them in your liability?
Right.
Yeah. I can see that.
Why are you guys making these money that I shouldn't make? You got to think about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I have to do.
If you look at the NBA now, there's no really true centers around at all. Even with the game being different, right? The post play is different. And Shaq was great. Shaq was dominant. And if you want to be a big man and call yourself dominant, you can't come out to Shaq if you're not dominant. Like, Shaq's not going to give you – Shaq didn't – military father, right?
Yeah.
He earned everything he got. He's not going to – you have to earn his praise. He's not going to give it to you. He's told players straight up, I'm hard on you because I want you to be better.
Right.
But because he's Shaq and not Kobe, they don't want to respect it.
But you also know with this generation, that tough love does not. You can't coach like that, really.
Yeah, it got Mike Brown fired.
Yeah, Mike Brown was on people's. And then you got. Did you see the game last night? The one guard, I can't think of his name. He usually backs up the Aaron Fox. He shoots
Monk?
a shot. What's
Not
his
Blake
name?
Monk.
No, the other guy with braids. He shot a shot last night, missed it to possibly win. He's walking off the court, and what's the head coach of the Kings?
Doug Christie.
Doug Christie now.
Doug Christie comes out, meets him at half court, and gives the player a hug. I'm watching this last night, and I'm thinking to myself, Mike Brown's never doing that. No other
Phil Jackson's never doing that.
No. And this is what I think. It's just different. I'm not trying to judge anything. I'm just saying that's different. I never had a coach in a game, especially when it's on the line, give me a hug. I've had coaches chew stuff out.
You know, it's funny you said so. I coached rec baseball for probably I just retired in 2024 after my final season there, and probably coached for 20 years, and we have a spring season and a fall season, so basically like 40 different seasons, and I would tell my parents, when we have our meeting, I go, look, I am not going to go ahead and be the, oh, here, let me give you a blanket and go sit in the corner type coach, and when you're ready to go, I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. I don't coddle. It's not the way it's going to be. We're going to, when they're wrong, they're going to know they're wrong. When they're right, when they're right, they're going to know they're right also. And stuff like that and everything. And I think that's one of the things. It's like, so hard. You don't want to get in people's, feelings and stuff like that. And, I think it's from a standpoint of is how many of these guys that play and pick sport, the sport doesn't matter. How many of them truly look at the other team and go, I can't stand you. When I grew up playing, if my best friend, if he was on another team and we were playing him that day, I didn't talk to him. If I passed him in the hallway at school, I walked right by his ass, didn't say hello, didn't say nothing. And then when we got there, now after the game and everything,
we're good.
Everything is good. But up until that point, no, I don't like you.
That's
and
right.
We don't have that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing that is missing.
Yeah, I used to tell people all the time, I don't know you. I don't know you until after that game is over with.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what, I think that's what, what you look at. I think that's where Shaq looks at, and he goes, like I was saying, from a standpoint of imagine, well, thank you, Machado.
Yeah.
Imagine, if, good thing he's skinny. Imagine if Wemby was thicker, not as thick as Shaq, but if he was bigger, imagine how much he would rip him for a guy who's standing 35 feet away from him, throwing up friggin' 3-pointers.
He would.
He'd go crazy on him. But by the same token, the game has changed so much, from that standpoint. But I think that's why Shaq doesn't like big guys, because big guys, they don't play like him. Well, how many people did play like you, Shaq?
But they don't play like big guys.
That's what I mean.
Shaq had to go against Elijah Robinson, and Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning. Like, he went against valid Hall of Famers at his position.
Yes.
Trying to be better than them. You don't have that no more.
No.
Right?
Your centers are
tall power forwards.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You used to have a stretch 4. Now you actually have stretch 5. Karl Anthony Towns, right? He's supposed to be the center for the New York Knicks. I hope Karl Anthony Towns does not know where the paint is.
No.
Yeah, that's not right.
They even make it a damn different color, and he can't find it.
And then they put like OG Anunoby in the dunker spot. The center spot is the dunker spot now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's why, it is. I think, Shaq looks at it from a standpoint, and it's just the game has changed, of what the big man is, how the big man plays and stuff, and people look and Shaq looks at it and he can't stand it, but I mean, it's like everything with all other kinds of sports and everything. I mean, look, football has changed. They made the change. They changed theirs with rules.
Yes.
You know, football changes their game of rules. Basketball seemed to change just the type of play that there is. Football changed because they changed rules, and the rules changed the play of the game. Where basketball, I mean, you know, people go, "Oh, well, the hand check." Hand check has not changed the game. That's not the one thing that has changed it to where it is today. It's the mentality of the 3-point line has definitely affected, because people go, "Hey, I shoot, I make it, I get 3. I go ahead and I step inside the line, I only make 2. If I make more 3s, I have a better shot at winning the game and everything." So, but
Michelle said Kobe predicted everything going on in the NBA right now. They out there playing accidental basketball. Everybody thinks they're Klay Thompson and Steph Curry.
Yep.
And that's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
We're gonna be watching basketball a long time before you see individuals shooting the rock like that. So then, okay, what's the next move? We went from feeding the post, like Big Jon talked about,
yep,
to now shooting. So what are we gonna do next? Because it's not gonna keep going like this.
And you hear basketball minds who played the game say, "Oh, back in the 90s, they just ran floppy." Right? It's just one play. There are more cuts but there are more cuts for nothing. Every game I watch, you see somebody get a wide open shot to the lane for a layup or floater, and they immediately stop and look to throw the ball out for a 3. You have 2 points right here.
Well, how many times coming down on a 2-on-1 and the guy without the ball runs to the corner?
Mm-hmm.
for the 3 ball, rather than running to the hoop also for an alley oop or wait and get that layup. You know, I mean, like, again, what are you going to do? It's not, you can't change it, because if that's the way they're playing, in college, if that's the way they're playing overseas, that's your minor leagues basically, so you can't change a guy once he gets, into the NBA. I mean, can you take a guy like Wemby and can you turn him into a low post player, assuming he puts on weight?
That would be, I don't think he can put on. That would be interesting to see.
I mean,
because you remember when Kevin Durant came out and everybody said, "Oh, wait till he fills out." That's not going to happen.
Well, he's 35 years old now. We're still waiting.
Yeah.
But
even when we talk about rule changes and change of style, even if you look at baseball has changed.
Yeah.
Right? It's velocity and angle versus pitching 101, 102. You don't have the Greg Maddux anymore with just pinpoint accuracy.
No. I was, I am I am a fan. I am a fan of sports. I love, and stuff like that. And they make things, so more difficult. I hate advanced analytics, advanced stats, and this, that, and everything. Hey, you want to get the ball to this guy at the right elbow, because if there's less than 4 minutes in a game and his team is down by 3, he could go ahead and he has a 75% chance of making that one. But if you put him on the left elbow, then he's only at a 52% chance. So, it's like, yeah, man, the game is pretty simple. You put the round basketball in the hoop more times than the other team does. It's but it's the analytics and all that kind of stuff. It's gone crazy. It's the same thing with like you were saying with baseball. Now it's rear back, throw the ball as hard as you can. Gee, why are so many guys having elbow injuries? Really? You can't figure that out. Watch the game when guys were throwing mid 80s to low 90s and they were actually pitchers rather than throwers. You didn't hear a lot about all those guys having elbow injuries.
True.
Now all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, you throw 100, you haven't had Tommy John yet? It's like when rather than if.
You're still pitching in the 7th inning and you're still throwing 100 in the 7th inning?
Right.
It's like it's just random So I can't wait to Skins has his first Tommy John. You know?
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah.
Soon.
Mm-hmm.
So, Michael, let me ask you, what do you think of Shohei Ohtani? When you think about the grand scheme of baseball and we go in the future years, the history of baseball, where's this guy going to be
at? Getting the World Series, I think, makes a big difference. I think, that does, believe it or not, it does go ahead and help. I don't know why people are, that still a championship still means so much, and stuff. He's a great hitter. Unbelievable. One of the best I've ever seen. Let's see what he when he did pitch, he pitched well. But to me, that wasn't a long enough thing. People go, oh, Babe Ruth. Yeah, I get it, different and everything. He is one of the most talented baseball players that I've seen. Be able, again, from a hitting perspective. I haven't seen enough of him from the other side of the ball. I think it would be very different if he was, let's say, playing first base and pitching rather than DHing and pitching. Like if there was no DH, you think about if there's no DH in the National League, all of a sudden now, boom, he's limited where he could go because there's only half the league and stuff. Yeah. So there have been some things that have helped him out. But I think that he is, I think he's changed the game in two ways. Number one, the contract that he signed with the deferred money and stuff. I'm very, very surprised. That if we don't start to see more than that, I was very surprised that Juan Soto didn't go ahead and do that standpoint. But I think when you stand back and you look at it, people will go ahead and say he's one of the best players, best all around. No, I don't think he will be close to that because he's not, he's not playing, the field, from that standpoint.
You got to think Willie Mays, Hank Aaron. There are many players you can name that played during the day in the heat, and sometimes played double headers in wool uniforms.
Oh yeah,
we're not on that level. He's not doing that.
No,
but he's a great player.
And I think it's going to be interesting to see. He's also changing the memorabilia. He's changing, that stuff. He's changed, look what the baseball in the 50-50 baseball. What was the final? That was some crazy number from what was that? Was that Heritage or was it Heritage or Golden?
Golden. I think it was like 5 million.
Yeah, something like that.
So there's things like that and stuff.
But Chado says Soto's going to use that option out if the Mets don't work.
Yeah. It's 5 years. It's a 5 year. It's after year number 5. We'll see. Who knows? People think, Mets fans, buddies that I talk to, and like that, everybody thinks, oh, you signed something like that. The pitching, we have a bunch of number 3s. We don't, maybe guys that can be a number 2. There's no ace on that staff. From that standpoint, the outfield is suspect at best now. Because you have Brendan Nimmo who has to go out there. He has a freaking noodle for an arm. He can't throw. Sterling Marte can't stay healthy. You don't know what you're doing on your infield. So it's I could easily see him leaving after 5 years. But I also said, you know what? Is it an overpay? Hell yeah, it's an overpay. Do I care? Hell no, I don't care because it ain't my money. And being a Mets fan, growing up in the 70s and the 80s in New York, wearing my blue and orange, and looking across the river into the Bronx, and watching the white and gray, the pinstripe, and looking up there and seeing George Steinbrenner and him doing everything and anything that he could do to bring a championship to the Yankees, and during, you know, so many years never having that as a Mets fan to now having that as a Mets fan. Stevie Cohen, spend. I do not care. It's all about championships as a fan. Second place means nothing. Nobody remembers second place.
True. I had a chance years ago to meet Tom Seaver. That was a cool experience.
Oh wow.
Very cool.
Quiet
individual, but
yeah.
still cool.
That was very that time. That was a very painful evening when we woke up that next morning and the headlines in the papers, and it was Pat Zachary, Doug Flynn, Steve Henderson, and Dan Norman. Ugh. Painful, man, painful. But I don't know. Baseball is, there's only so much money. I mean, I guess I don't know. Is there so much money out there? Is there not enough money out there? Teams don't want to. It's like, it's funny. You hear about the Mets, you hear about the Dodgers, and then all of a sudden you hear about Seattle or some other teams going, you know what? We really need to go ahead and cut back. It's like, what are you doing with all the money? I mean, the revenue money is coming in like crazy.
These organizations know that they're growing their asset if they win or lose. So,
right.
What's your philosophy? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
It's almost like unless you have intrinsic value to win, it is what it is.
Yeah. And it's weird. It's like, and it's a lot of different sports, but you look at baseball as one, people go, oh, it needs a salary cap and so on and so forth. Okay. How are you going to get the players to go ahead and agree to that? So that's gone right there. But it's got to be tough. Let's face it, to be a Pittsburgh Pirates fan.
True.
Oakland A's fan.
An Oakland A's fan and think, wow, what are our chances?
There's teams like the Marlins who spent zero money in the offseason. They spent zero, not a dime, the whole offseason.
Yeah. Yep. There are players that are going to make more in 1 year than some of these teams are going to pay their entire starting their major league roster.
It's true.
I mean, Oakland's going to be interesting to see what happens with them going ahead, and playing in that minor league stadium. What happens? That division is so bad. What the hell happens if they somehow, the stars align and they win the American League West? You're going to have a playoff game in a minor league stadium?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we had a sellout crowd. What, 5,247 for a playoff game?
Machado asked you, Huddle, is Pete Alonso staying or going?
I believe he's going to stay. He can go to Chicago. I don't know if he will. I mean, I got to believe he's going to stay, because if he wasn't, nobody else is talking to him. Now there's the Boros rumors. Scott Boros always has 3 or 4 teams that are talking about his guys. He did it last year, and look what happened, with Chapman and Montgomery, and Snell. Now Snell and Chapman, it worked out. They played well. They opted out. They got good deals. Boom, stuff like that. Montgomery had to take his player option because there was no way he was getting $25 million to pitch this year the way he did last year. So I think he's going to stay. I think he's going to stay because I don't know who will offer him a better deal than the Mets will offer him.
And you guys don't have a first baseman in your farm system to call up.
Nobody that's ready. Ryan Clifford is probably still a year or so away. You know, there are some people who think that you know, Vientos can play some first base, and you could bring up another guy. You know, but the thing is, you know, you talked about, you know, like you said, FD, like, you know, about the whole Juan Soto thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't waste time. You can't think it's because it's not. He didn't sign a 15-year contract.
True.
He signed a 5-year contract. So how many of those years do you want to waste before you decide whether or not you know what I'm saying? But you know, how many years do you want to waste? You think, hey, wow, hey, in year 3, Juan will be okay. You know, you got to go ahead and you got to go now. That's what happens when you sign these guys.
Mark Vientos is not him.
I don't know. I mean, he had 1 year in the big leagues.
So when coming back, do you prospect or do you just collect? What do you do for like cards in baseball?
I do a little bit of, I mean, I do probably more collecting than prospecting. But if I do prospect, I mean, I don't go, you know, like I'm not one, like it'll be, you know, 1 or 2 guys. You know, I'm not going ahead and going, okay, hey, these 5 guys or so on and so forth. You know, I'll pick 1 or 2 and you know, and see what goes on. You know, I won't go, you know, I won't try and go very deep because, you know, let's face it, a lot more fail than succeed. And I mean, and not necessarily they fail at their sport. They fail at the idea of, you know, if you're looking at it as an investment perspective, right? You're looking at going ahead, you know, and saying, hey, you know, I have player X, and I'm going to buy, you know, 100 of his rookie cards, you know, and spend a few $100. You know, it's like I'm not going to go. You know, I would not go ahead and, you know, spend $100,000 on a Mac Jones infinite 1 of 1, and then all, you know, then I wouldn't want to have what happened to that guy.
Right.
You know,
so,
stuff like that.
You do a lot of eBay and been selling on eBay for a while. What do you have? What kind of tips do you have for people who sell and flip cards on eBay?
So,
what's the secret sauce?
Well, the first secret sauce is: do you want to sell on eBay, or do you just want to have your collection being shown? So, and what I mean by that is you either price cards to sell, or you price cards to keep in a box, right? You know, I don't, you know, you know, so when I'm looking at a card and everything, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw it up there and stuff like that, I'm not pricing it to go ahead and hold on to it. You know, I'm pricing it to go ahead and move it from that standpoint. Number 1. Number 2, what kind of a seller do you want to be? And I know that sounds like a great question, but you know, do you want to be a you know, a low end, a medium, or a high end guy? You know, what area do you want to work in? There's more of a grind. It's like this, you know, it's like the old saying, you know, do you want to list 100 cards and make $1 a card, kind of like you know what I'm saying, make $1 a card, or do you want to list, you know, 5 cards and make $20 a card?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then you have the whole, there are a lot of people talk about the algorithm, you know, from that standpoint, you know, that if you're not listing, you're not being noticed, and so on and so forth, you know, what the consistency is, you know. But for me, it's, you know, if you're going to take pictures, take good pictures. You know, don't go ahead and, you know, if I'm going to try and, you know, I'm going to try and sell, you know, this card, if this, let's say if the window that I am in is the window that you're allowed for eBay, don't take a picture like this. Make the card fit in the window so people can see the card. You know, the hardest thing is when the card looks like a stamp, you know, versus looking, you know, bigger and everything. So that's one thing I would say. Make sure you're taking, you know, good pictures and stuff. That's an important, you know, piece to it.
Now, are you a auction guy or you just strictly buy it now?
I am a buy it now guy. I will dabble with auctions every now and again. But for the most part, I'm just a buy it now guy. Do I have any Lindor cards? Yes, I have a few.
There's a question from Machado here. How do you deal with people who try to get their money back because they didn't read the listing on their card, and now they're mad, so they try to complain?
So the first thing that I have done or I do is I go ahead and take all emotion out of it and just say, okay, what's going on stuff. I am trying to deal more in a volume game. So to be honest with you, the cards that I'm doing, they're $3-5 cards. To me, you know what? You want to bitch, you want to moan, you want to complain and stuff like that. I'll refund you. I'll move on. Sometimes it's not worth the time and the effort. Now, don't get me wrong. There are the ones that there is a principle to be made, and that one, that's the one, you fight. You fight till the bitter end to go ahead and make them do everything they have to do. I had a guy who did that with me. He bought a $1.75 card, and he goes, this little corner over here, one of the corners was not as sharp as I thought it was. So I said, okay. Normally, I would just go ahead and I would, say, fine, I'll refund you. But for this guy, I didn't. I said, send the card back to me and I'll refund you when I get it back. And he never sent it back. eBay closed it in my favor and stuff. So, I don't, again, most of the time I would just go ahead, and really, truly just most of the people are good. Most of the buyers are good buyers and stuff. One of the things that has helped out a lot, especially with the lower end stuff, is using eBay standard envelope. That has definitely helped out people a lot more because at least you can kind of track the card a little bit. Whereas before you had that, a lot of people had to open up second accounts because they were basically selling, $3-5 cards. They have to put a stamp on an envelope, and really then it's all honor system because you had nothing, you had nothing to show as to whether or not the card actually made it to the the customer. But reselling is it's a tricky part, of it, and people, they get so emotional about it. Whereas, a lot of times when it comes to business, emotion is something that you have to really be careful with because it's easy to go ahead and just be like, I'm not dealing with these people. I'm going to make, and then what winds up happening is you wind up spending so much of your time and energy. It's just not worth it in the long run.
True.
I'll fight tooth and nail if someone, like I had someone, I sold an item on Amazon and the person claimed that I sent the wrong item. And I'm like, wait a minute. You clicked on the button. You ordered it. You got the right item. I know you got the right item. You're claiming you got the wrong one. Fine. What item did you get? Please send it back to me so I can refund you. It's been 2 weeks. The person hasn't sent it back to me because they know they did not. They that they're just trying to play a game. You're welcome, Machado.
I always wonder people's motivations. Always wonder people's motivations.
Yeah. I mean, it's the sports card game is it is very difficult. Difficult not like hard work and stuff like that. It's difficult from a standpoint is because the range is so large in the value of cards that you can put up there on eBay. From cards that you're going to sell for $2, people have them listed, for $20,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And each one has its own separate, issues that come along, with it, from that standpoint, and stuff. So it's difficult from a standpoint of, dealing with the different customers because again, people look at it differently from the standpoint of is I'm paying for $100 card. They expect something different than if they're paying for a $2 card.
Now, are you taking pictures or are you using a scanner?
So any card that that will go through my scanner, I put through my scanner. So basically, for the most part, the only ones that I don't put through my scanner are number one, if it's in a slab, or if it is one of the thicker patch cards, but pretty much otherwise, all mine are going through a scanner, which has helped me out a lot from a listing, perspective. I just scanned, a couple hundred cards. What's today? Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night. I just, I scanned a couple hundred football cards, and I'm working through those. Another tip for selling is list whatever you want to list at any particular time, but know your season that you're in. So, like, for instance, football season right now, if you're going to be listing cards, try and focus on your guys that are in the playoffs, because if they go off on the playoffs, people will look for those cards, and I don't mean, like, hey, don't list Joe Burrow or Jamar Chase, like, not those guys, but like those secondary, wide receivers, those secondary running backs, or some of those guys that you normally would think, I don't want to list, Joe Smith, who's playing for Tampa Bay. Why? I only want to list, Mike Evans. No, list Joe Smith also, because if Joe Smith goes ahead and goes off in the playoff game, all of a sudden people run to eBay and go, wow, I got to get a Joe Smith card before the prices go up, right? So that's a tip. That's one of the things that I try and focus on. So when I was looking at my football cards, I was trying to pick a lot of the players that are in the playoffs to go ahead and list. And I'll do the same thing as we get closer to basketball playoff. And I'll do the same thing as baseball, as we're getting into spring training. I'll start looking at those guys, the stars. Work on the stars first. Same thing in hockey. Hockey, work on the center as you go into the playoffs. List hockey cards if you have those. With wrestling, around your big PLEs, around WrestleMania weekend and stuff like that, man, you want to get a bunch of cards listed on like that Thursday, that Friday, letting them be sitting, because as events happen on Saturday night and on Sunday night, people are going to want to look, and you might as well go ahead and have those cards, sitting there waiting for somebody to buy them. Yeah,
last night I had a bunch of I had 5 slabs. There's a consignment in right at the end of right in the middle of Raw, and got each card got like a $5 to $20 bump just with the excitement.
Yep. Yeah. That's the one, that's the one thing to go ahead and look. I mean, like I said, star players, it don't make a difference, right? You list them whenever you can, but like I'm saying, some of those other fringe players, you never know. That middle linebacker, I don't know. If you have a Jack Campbell card for Detroit, man, just take a picture, throw it up there. Jack Campbell goes ahead and goes crazy in the game. People are going to look and go, oh my gosh, Jack Campbell. Especially if they're a rookie. If you have a rookie playing in the playoffs, definitely like Bo Nix. His cards are doing well no matter what. But man, I would get ready to start looking, because if he goes ahead and does something, man, all of a sudden, next thing you know, cards pop, prices pop. From that standpoint.
Makes perfect sense.
All right.
Proper knowledge, people.
And you're using a Rico scanner, aren't you? What kind of scanner do you have?
No, I use I use the Epson. What is it here? The ES-402. I got it off of eBay for $100, and I will tell you right now, best $100 I saw. I went ahead and I purchased. And people are like, oh yeah, well, you need to. If you're going to get a scan, only get a scanner if you're going to use, one of the software programs and stuff like that. and I'll be honest with you. It has sped up my listing my listing process because, like I said, I scanned probably about 125 football cards on Sunday night, and it took me, I don't know, I mean, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I would not have been able to take pictures of front and back of all those cards in 20 or 30 minutes. And you can get them relatively easy, but relatively cheap. There's a wheel in it that comes out, piece of cake and everything. And drop the cards in. I do about 8, maybe 10 cards at a time. Like when I'm doing Chrome cards, like about 8. If I'm doing plain paper cards, I probably put about 10 in. Just hit scan, watch them come out, put them in. I got these little containers that I use, and I got cards that I've scanned that I've listed, and in this bin I got cards that are scanned that I haven't listed yet. I just boom and go right there.
So Jordan has a question: how are you getting cards to scan? I can't get it to be consistent.
I'm not sure. I mean, I have the the Epson, the ES 400, II or 2, whatever the hell it's called, and I mean, I just watched a couple of videos. I watched J-Mac Sports Cards when he was. I don't know if he still has his content up. He has kind of left the hobby a little bit, and I don't know if he still has some of his content up. But he had a good video, on what to do and everything. And basically, now I also the other thing is I do my cards in a penny sleeve. I don't do just the raw card because I didn't want to take any chances of scratches and so on. And even in my description, I say, hey, any lines you see are on the penny sleeve, not the card. If there's anything wrong with the card, it'll be, listed in the description from that standpoint. So Jordan, mine all go in a sleeve.
He says, yeah, I did too, just not consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I also list different right now than so for instance, one of the things that helps me is I list by I'll do sport and by set. So like when I'm listing and everything, like for instance, like with all these cards with the Josh Allen and Lamar and like I have Saquon, they're all like this little stack right here is all the same set. This stack is the same set. So it also helps me list quickly because all I got to do really is the first card, get that one set up the way I want. And then after that, I just do create similar. And all I'm really changing is the card number, the player name, and the team, and dropping the new pictures in, because eBay will automatically update the item specifics. So I put that in the title. Item specifics get updated. I make the change in my description, and boom, I can get through cards, a lot quicker. I'm not, just dropping a whole bunch in and stuff and then trying to do it from that way. You use a card saver, so I don't know, Jordan. That may be part of it. I have not tried using card savers. I have with the Epson. I did have some success with top loaders also. I just didn't like the way the scan looked, and then not being able to do as many. But I mean, if there were some cards, that I get from a perspective of using it with the top loader, but I don't do that. I do a scan. I put the open side. So when I take the card that I'm going to list, so put it in a sleeve and everything, and then basically I lay it flat with the open part of the sleeve to the bottom and the face against the I don't know, the shelf of the scanner. So it goes in this way, and then it pulls it down from that standpoint. If you're putting him in if you put him in kind of with the open part up, as the wheel grabs it, it'll tend to go ahead and mess around with the card sleeve. So I also do it that way. I have heard of people do it sideways. I didn't have any success like that. The most success I had is upside down with the face of the card with the front of the card facing away from you.
That's good information. Smoothness asks the question: what rookie QBs besides Daniels and Nix do you think are going to be good players? I can't think of one player, but
I mean, I don't know. I want to say the kid in Chicago, but I mean, Caleb Williams. I just don't know. I'm not sold. I don't know. I mean, he's like the only one that I could think of who, out of that last group of quarterbacks that got drafted, he's really the only one, that I could think of, from that standpoint. But I just don't know if he's one of those guys who is a great college football player, but an okay NFL player.
That's like that would be like most. I don't see Caleb, and I don't see Caleb Williams. He does a lot of things that he throws. He doesn't have a consistent mechanics with how he throws the football. A lot of times he throws off his back foot or running from someone. He still feels like he can run backwards. And now Shador struggles with this as well. Can keep the play going by running backwards. This is not college football anymore, or wherever you've been. People are top athletes. His throws are just inconsistent because his mechanics is off. So that's why you'll see DJ Moore and other people are extremely frustrated at times because what is Caleb doing? And I don't know what this whole thing is with him going out of bounds for faking it and then trying to get more yards. I think he's the kind of guy, and I hate to say this, he thinks he's smarter than everybody else.
Yeah, and it's probably because he was been so good at all the other levels, but now all of a sudden, everybody on the field is better than anybody. That pretty much, like everybody on the field is almost better than everybody that you played against.
Yes.
Time
to wise up. Hopefully this offseason I will get with a real quarterback consulting trainer and find out what I need to be doing.
Well, what do you think they're going to do for a coach? You think they go for an offensive guy, or think they go for a defensive guy?
People are talking about McCarthy, but I don't know how that makes him any better.
The Bears Dallas went in, unless Dallas does not bring him back.
Yeah. Dallas
won't let him talk to Chicago until they make a decision on him.
Well, they probably already made that. They just saw it. But until the McCaskey family doesn't own the team, the Bears will be who the Bears are.
When Woody Johnson stops being owner of the Jets won't be.
Wasn't Woody Johnson the one? Was it Woody Johnson checking Madden's ratings on players?
That's what he said. That's what they said. I don't want that guy. Why? His Madden rating is not where it should be.
What? Consulting him. He was extra son. Hey, what's that guy's Madden rating?
Yeah. Yep. That's what they said.
That's all you gotta know, man.
My thing is the Bears did the same cycle where you keep firing the coach, then you keep their GM on, get a quarterback, then you fire the GM, then you get a new GM, then you fire the coach. It's the same cycle, and you're just gonna keep repeating it. I'm a Bears fan through and through, forever and a day, but realistically, I don't think it matters who they get.
I agree.
Because next year they won't be good, then they're gonna fire the polls.
Then the third year they'll be getting rid of Caleb Williams.
But that's what gets me. Like we talked about it earlier. Is that let these guys just especially if you hire a brand new head coach. Like everybody talks about Ben Johnson from Detroit, right? He's one of the hot guys people talk about. And Aaron Glenn, right? Defensive guy. They've never been head coaches before. Shouldn't you give them time? Like with New England, with Mayo, same type of thing. Like, why did you knew you were bringing in a guy who had never coached at that level before. Don't you give them time?
No, I actually think the owner made a decision on somebody he knew.
Mm-hmm.
And so he gave that dude a job. Now he's probably gonna make that same decision off a guy he knows.
Yeah.
And that's really about it. Then he comes to the press conference and says, "You know what? This was on me."
Buddy, you own the team. They're all on you eventually.
All of them. If the light stays on the room too long and the bill is high, it's on you, bro. So it's all a game, man.
Penix and down here in Georgia, he
I haven't seen him enough.
He looked good because unfortunately I have to watch those games if I'm going to watch because that's the team here. He hasn't. He's looked like a rookie quarterback, which you expect. Yep. He throws he throws a really nice, football, man. He does look well and everything. But again, if you don't put parts and pieces, if you can't keep him standing upright, doesn't matter.
Where does Kirk Cousins go? Where does he go? Because he's not done.
Oakland.
I was gonna say, does he go to a team that can't draft a quarterback this year? That needs a quarterback.
Big John, what did you say?
Oakland.
I think he meant Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Vegas. Yeah.
Okay.
Oakland Raiders.
That's the only thing I can think of. That team makes sense there. Hell, could be friggin' stupid enough to go ahead and come to the Jets if they're willing to pay him. If the Jets need a quarterback,
that's where I'm thinking. That's the person I'm thinking is going to go to the Jets. Kirk Cousins, JJ McCarthy. We don't know anything about him.
No, you don't. He tore his ACL, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harbaugh said he had a great pro day, but that doesn't mean much.
Yeah. A lot of them look great in t-shirts and shorts, and when you don't have these big 6'4", 6'5" running at you. And they're
all those other guys who throw the ball and then leave it in the air. Like, bro, you're not doing that in the game. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Yeah, we'll see. I always go off. I don't expect any of these guys to be anything. We get 2 quarterbacks every 20 years. I don't expect any of these guys to work out until they actually work out.
Yeah,
you can even be a Cam Newton. You can come out here and have a phenomenal. Then you don't work out.
Right. Yeah, and I think from a standpoint of it, and I think the problem that you have is a lot of these guys are getting drafted where they shouldn't get drafted. And not necessarily the team, but the rounds where they are. And let's face it, if you get picked in the top 5, there's a whole bunch of different expectations of you than if you got drafted in the 3rd round.
True.
Look at Kirk Cousins, right? He came out when RG3 came out. Cousins was drafted in what? The 3rd or the 4th round.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody expected anything from him. And I'm not saying that. Don't get me wrong. Not saying that he's killed the league, torched the league, and everything. But no one expected him to be as serviceable as he has been.
Yeah, he backed up RG3.
Yeah.
LP Cam was good, but injuries happen.
Yep.
I think as fans sometimes we act like injuries don't happen. And then he hurt himself throwing an interception trying to make a tackle with his throwing shoulder.
Yeah.
Which I would never do if I was a quarterback. Whoever that is running, I'm gonna watch him run because I'm not throwing my shoulder over his face.
That's one of those ones you go, hey, go catch him.
That's right. Or you just run real fast and slow down like, man.
Almost had him.
Wish I could have got that guy.
Wish I could have touched him.
Yeah. Terrell Davis was another one. Interception, tackle, towards the up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he still made the whole thing.
That is true. I don't know how. I mean, I think some of these guys that they play a certain way in college, and then coaches try and make them into something that a little different, than they should have been and stuff like that. That's why I'm like, I look at Lamar and I look at what when they got him and everything, and the Ravens said, okay, we understand that player. We understand that player's strengths.
Yeah.
That's how we are building the team. We are not going to take that guy and pigeonhole him into trying to make him into a pocket passer. Not saying that he can't do it, but we're going to let him use all God's gifts that he gave him and be, what he is. And you think about it, he goes to a team where they let him be Lamar Jackson, and look what you get. You get which we talked about earlier, should be a 3-time MVP, doing things that nobody's done. Whereas if he goes someplace else, who the hell knows what happens?
Smooth is asked the question. What do you mean by 2 FD? Are you talking stars or potential Hall of Famers? I'm talking about greatness. That's it. I'm not talking about this quarterback went to this team and was there for a little bit and moved on to this team. This is what we're going to see out of these guys. If you look back in history, there's only 2 every 20 years. We spend our time talking about the J.J. McCarthys, the Drake Mays. We don't know who Penix is. We spend more time talking about that than I'd rather sit down and watch some old Tom Brady film.
Yeah.
Wondering about what these guys are doing.
Just think, a few years ago, we were talking about, man, Trevor Lawrence, holy cow, the prototype. What do you move? Whoo, man, woohoo. He should be it, man. Look what he did at Clemson. That whole draft class.
The whole draft class is bad.
Yeah, they haven't done anything.
Yeah. So Smoothers, put your hourglass, turn your hourglass over. 2 every 20 years. And that's it. You're going to have hundreds of quarterbacks come through. They can tell their grandchildren they played, but they're not going to be legendary players.
Right. Yeah.
And this is what C.J. Stroud is going through. I keep saying this over and over. People are looking at film and finding ways to shut him down.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they're going to do Penix, just like they're going to do J.J. McCarthy, just like they did Mac Jones. Whatever you do well, they'll get a scheme together and a shell to mess you up. You won't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you'll be on the bench. Because I'm going to run that all the time.
Yeah. And to your point, it's, if you can adjust, you're toast.
You're over with. It's like a running back.
You
can come out, you can run in college right off that tackle's butt. In the pros, if you can't cut back and see something else, it's not happening.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a lot harder. But
but
again,
you look at Bryce Young this year. After the benching, it's played pretty well.
Very well. Played better than C.J. Stroud this play.
And you think, does every rookie quarterback have to start the rookie year? Why?
No, Mahomes didn't.
You look at Jordan Love didn't. So maybe you can learn.
Tom Brady didn't.
Yeah.
So LP says Mahomes and who? I think the name was Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
Yeah. My LP, you already know that. You're a 2-time MVP. You're a Hall of Famer. He's about to be 3-time MVP.
And you're doing things that haven't been done.
That's right.
But to your point, what a lot of people are going to look at it and they're going to go, wait, hold on. Look at the numbers this player put up. It's numbers are everything is not in the numbers anymore.
Yeah. Did that player also run 4,000 yards while throwing 4,000?
Yeah.
And run for touchdowns and throw 4 interceptions.
Yeah, was he 41-4?
This dude's almost like Otani, man. This
That
guy's
is
like
nuts.
pitching and hitting. This dude's all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Then you put a bona fide baller behind him at running back, that just opens this up. That's why his numbers are crazy, because he's always been on that level. But who was his running back? His running back was hurt. His running back by committee. Put a bona fide dog back there, and then everything changes.
that's a dude, Henry, who does not get enough credit for
He doesn't.
what he does on a field because man.
Already a Hall of Famer, just stacking more bricks on top.
Trying to get into the inner circle.
What's that?
Trying to get to the inner circle of the Hall of Fame.
Yes, he's up in that upper room, like Dion talked about. He got a little glitter on his gold jacket.
Yeah. Most definitely. I mean, because, even if he had, the funny thing is, I mean, there's a guy, he runs what? 1,800, 1,700, 1,600 yards, 1,700 yards and everything. The bad part is going to be this, right? He's going to have 1 year where he's going to rush for like 1,100, and people are going to go, "Oh my gosh, what's wrong with Derrick Henry?"
Mm-hmm.
Only 1,100 yards. How many teams? Every freaking team would love to have at least one guy on their team run for 1,100 yards.
And he has to. I know he's feeling how easy it is now to run compared to being in Tennessee.
Yep.
But they're stacking the box and they're doing everything they can to shut you down. And now with Baltimore, they don't know what they're going to do. Anybody heard about Zay Flowers? Is his knee really hurt, or is he good to go?
I haven't heard anything.
I heard Christian Watson, his ACL's gone for Green Bay.
I don't see Green Bay going far.
No, they're still, young and stuff like that. And I think, but that's also, I mean, that's also going to be tough. I mean, they do have, they have a heck of a road to go ahead and, and go through and stuff. I mean, crying out loud. You have 2 teams in front of their own division, one won 14, one won 15 games, and, I don't know. I don't. Minnesota to me is that, like, I could see Minnesota easily going. I think they get the Rams.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see them going and losing very easily, just because I don't have any confidence in their quarterback.
Oh no, Darnold is up and down like a roller coaster. So it all depends on who shows up, and then go from there. But people fail to realize though, Darnold's had a good year, but Justin Jefferson and some of these other players have caught some poor balls being thrown.
Oh heck yeah!
So,
and I watched it.
I hope he has the season, because he probably won't ever see this again.
But the scary part is this: if he wins at least one playoff game, there's going to be somebody who's going to give him a nice little chunk of change next year to go ahead and play.
Oh yeah,
that's the crazy thing. It's like, do you not remember the last 6 years? What makes you think this guy has turned the corner that much?
Well, look at Garoppolo came in the other day with the Rams, and that was stanky.
Oh, he's throwing balls in the dirt at people.
Right at people's toes. Just, then he's looking at them like, bro, come on, man.
The biggest overreaction is people wanting to buy Joe Milton cards from the Patriots, their starter last Sunday.
Really?
He looked good. Yeah. That was a big preseason, like, and at least in this area, people were talking about, does Joe Milton, be the starter over Drake May because he was playing good in preseason because he's elusive, and people were trying to buy his cards.
Yeah. Well, didn't that happen, 2 years ago or last year with Hendon Hooker for Detroit? Weren't a lot of people looking for his cards too? Because they figured, Jared Goff, he's going to suck. Whoop, that didn't work out well. I mean, he's still, yeah.
Jared Goff will retire a better quarterback than Matthew Stafford.
But he won't have a ring.
Goff will retire a better quarterback.
Mm-hmm. More yards, more touchdowns.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, yeah.
That's fair to say.
When he left LA, I was thinking, like, the coach must be just trying to get a quick Super Bowl. I mean, that's what happened.
He did.
But Jared Goff is a better quarterback than Stafford. I've watched Stafford since I lived in Detroit. Jared Goff is a better quarterback.
Yeah. Especially when you think about some of the people that Matthew had to throw to.
I always joke that he made Megatron retire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Cooper Kupp will never have a season like he did, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Never come close, and will never be Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
People look at stats and be like, man, who's that guy? He had a crazy season.
Yeah. Jamar Chase has had the same type of season. Jamar Chase won a Triple Crown.
Yep. But what he does is sustainable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Him and Jefferson, sustainable. I would only hope one day they could ever play again together. That would be phenomenal. Hey, Big Jon, I got a fact from the Quad Car Podcast.
Woo.
Yes. Appreciate y'all.
Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson on the same team?
Like when they were at LSU. That would be phenomenal.
Oh, my God.
Then you can put a Sam Donald back.
Are they the two best receivers?
Best
Are they
receivers.
the flat out two best receivers in the league?
Could be. I'm trying to think now. Am I missing someone? You asked a great question. I gotta look this up.
I mean, you got AJ Brown and Philly.
No, he's great, but he's not on that level.
I don't know if
I'm talking about route running. I'm talking about straight
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is nice. He's older. He's very nice.
We know DK, Debo not in that conversation. Those two are not definitely in that conversation.
No.
I tell you, it'd be interesting to see, but how his career goes. Puka Nacua is putting together some nice seasons.
Yeah, I just always, when you go to the Rams, they run a system.
Yeah.
With the crossing and all that. That's just, I like to
They
see
run a
some
system like Green Bay ran early in Rodgers' career.
Yeah, I like to see that be sustainable over time. But he is he's putting together some stuff.
Yeah. I mean, at one time, Devontae might have been a younger Devontae might have been be in that trio. Harrison Jr., I don't know about that one. I don't know about him.
His quarterback is suspect, so they got to get him a new quarterback to really see how Harrison Jr. takes top off that thing. I think he has the potential, and I agree with what you just said about Devontae Adams. Let's get him with a under 40 quarterback, and then see what's up. But he's probably the only one. I'm talking about from a route running perspective and speed and hands that's messing with Jefferson and Chase. Those guys run routes, man. Like if the DB catching hell, you don't know what they're going to do.
Malik Neighbors, maybe, but not yet.
We also he had 5 quarterbacks this year, though. He had several quarterbacks.
How I thought it was really funny how Cleveland, Jerry Jeudy had a breakout 200-some yard game, and the next week they benched Jameis. No, you go back to being bad now. You don't get the ball anymore. Like he had that breakout game on Monday night, 5 touchdowns, and was very.
Tyreek is cool. He's not that kind of receiver.
Tyreek, he won out of Miami. Where's he gonna go with that?
How you in a winning situation and go chase the money, then complain that you're not winning. You win and chase the money.
That's modern day athletes, man.
Yeah.
Modern day. Yeah.
It was more about he got his rings, or he got his ring, and then he said, you know what? Let me go get the bag now. And then you turn around and you complain about the thing. Well, you don't understand something, Tyreek. When you're going to make $50 million a year in a salary cap league, that hurts. That doesn't help the team. That hurts the team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't be these guys who complain. That's what it's always the guy who goes and signs the massive contract, goes somewhere with a team that has massive cap space. He takes so much of it and he goes, I can't believe that we ain't getting better. No kidding. You making all the damn money. Who the hell else they going to pay?
You got to get better.
Right. You know.
But he needs to be in that type of offense. He needs to be in a Ram style offense where he can catch crossers and take them to the house.
Kind of like that play when he scored the winning touchdown against Buffalo, right? Or the tying touchdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
That little crosser, and then boom, turned up field, and he was gone. You know, there are a lot of good wide receivers in football. I mean, you know, Garrett Wilson is another guy who's good and everything, but you don't know how good some of these guys are going to be. Like Garrett Wilson, you're not going to know. He went from freaking Zach Wilson to Aaron Rodgers. You know, so he went from I mean, just
1,100 yards.
Same thing like DJ Moore.
Yeah. You know?
Terry Rozier is one of the ones. I'll give Jordan that.
Yeah, but hasn't he gone ahead and CeeDee Lamb's another one. CeeDee Lamb's pretty damn good. But Scary Terry, I don't like. Is he really even? Are they throwing a lot to him?
He's triple coverage almost every time.
Well, that's true. Pickens does have a bad man. How about Pickens, man? Pickens, they go ahead and they lose to the freaking Kansas City Chiefs. He walks up on the press guy. He walks up on the end of the game thing where Patty and Travis are talking and congratulates them on a game. They were sitting there having they're at the table. What was that? Was that Thanksgiving or whatever the heck it was? He walks right up during the whole interview. Hey man, good game. Hey man, good game. Get the. That's that thing, man. FD, yeah, we talked about.
Yeah.
Don't do that crap.
Do you think Pickens intentionally dropped passes last week?
Yeah,
I do. After the whole thing with Russell Wilson, I think he said, "I'm gonna go out and prove a point." There's no way, man. You're an NFL receiver. Do you get lost in nothing? There's no sun out. There's nothing happening. You just fall out. You got balls hit you right in your hand and you dropping them.
Yeah. Yeah. What's going to happen with Russell? Is he going to? I mean, is he going to stay in Pittsburgh? Is he going to leave?
I don't see him coming back to Pittsburgh.
Who else going to take him?
Russ might be done, man. Russ might be done.
That'll be an interesting one. Him, because you get figured from a veteran standpoint, you'll have him out there. You're going to have Cousins out there. Even though he's 40-something years old, you're going to have Rodgers out there. I don't necessarily, if he decides to come back, I don't think he will. I mean, again, the ego in him of being that close to Brett Favre, I could see him wanting to come back. But I don't know. I mean, they're running out of spaces for some of these guys. I mean, if Tennessee, of course, what is it? The Tennessee and then who has it's Tennessee and then Cleveland have the first two picks, right?
Mm-hmm, I think so.
So if they take Shador and Cam, that's two more teams that, unless they decide, if you're Cleveland, well, you already have to deal with Watson. But if you're Tennessee, do you want to bring in Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson, or maybe even or do you want to start whoever you take from day one?
Mm-hmm.
Because sooner or later, there's not going to be places for these guys with all these young quarterbacks. It's not like it's not like the quarterbacks when you look across the league, unless they're getting ready to go ahead and get rid of them, trash them. It's like, okay, so does Cousins go to Pittsburgh because there's going to be an opening there? Because obviously Tomlin didn't care for Fields because as soon as Russ was healthy enough, it was like, hey, I understand you're 4-2, you're done, Russ, get out there.
I don't know if he didn't care for Fields or if Fields just needs to sit down and actually learn how to be a pro and learn more. Because again, he's another one of those quarterbacks that was just thrown to the wolves. You're thrown in the pit and just crawl out if you can. So they could keep Fields and see what he learned and really evaluate him next season. Because Tomlin ain't gonna go below 500. It's just not gonna happen. He gonna win you 9 games.
Yes, that's that's the good thing about that organization, and that's the bad thing about that organization. You have such a great coach that can motivate your players and get the best out of them that you're drafting in the freaking middle rounds, and you're hoping for a Ben Roethlisberger type guy to drop to you because you're never in a position. I mean, you think about it, right? His whole career there, his worst season was 8-8. 8-8 gets you what? Around the 15th pick or so?
Yeah, they drafted bad receivers. Chase Claypool, George Pickens. Like, they've drafted bad weapons. Najee Harris is a good back, but he's not a game changer. Like, they don't have a game changer on offense.
Smooth. No, they don't. In an interview, Phil said he learned a lot and would like to stay in Pittsburgh. I don't know what else he would say.
Yeah. I mean, for a guy like him, you got to figure. I mean, you stay in Pittsburgh, you got a chance to start. You're going to have a good. You already know you have a good coaching staff. So you already know a lot of the things that are on the positive side of it, rather than saying, hey, you know what? No, I'd rather leave and go try and go to this organization. Oh, I know. I'd rather go to Las Vegas and try and play for them. And why would you want to do that? It doesn't really make a whole bunch of sense. There's no, so I can understand him definitely wanting to stay. Of course, if he can play well in Pittsburgh, I mean, man, they'll love him. But what is it that he learned?
That's true.
Because it's not like he throws a ball the way Russ throws a ball. You know what I'm saying?
But I think it's a lot of understanding of how to be a pro, how to lead a locker room, how to study, how to prepare. I don't think he got that under Matt Eberflus and the Bears. You think Geno Smith and Sam Darnold are having good seasons because they're good quarterbacks, because they're in the best situation, they've learned better habits. I don't think it's if he learned better habits, learned how to lead, I don't think he ever had a problem earning the respect of a locker room and getting people to follow him.
You see Fields of making a Pro Bowl?
I don't know.
I don't see that.
I'm not sure. I don't. I mean, I guess he could make a Pro Bowl if he had an unbelievable season, and all the other guys are like, "Yeah, I'm not going." I mean, there's that way to go.
Yeah, that's the others that have done that. Quiet podcast has still seen a line.
Yeah, and a lot of the NFL does.
Yeah, it's a few teams. Yeah.
I just don't know. It's like some of these guys, though. you know, were there, you know, I mean, when you saw him more, John, with being in Chicago,
Mm.
you know, how was he as a passer?
Not great.
To me, he made late decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So is that something that you could learn?
Yeah.
You change that?
If you see this with every quarterback that changes coordinators in the first 3 years. You go from learning one tendency, and then you're learning a new one and a new one and a new one. Every year, he had 3 coordinators in 3 years. So learning the playbook, learning where to anticipate. And let's be fair, the Bears offense is throwing. He couldn't throw the out flat route. That's his worst pass, and that's all their playbook is. There's a bunch of at line of scrimmage or behind line of scrimmage screen passes and throws, and that's not a pass that he could throw his first 3 years with any accuracy. Like even you see with Caleb Williams, you watch a Bears game, half of his passes are at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage.
Oh yeah,
I didn't see one slant route in the whole route tree.
No.
So, but if you look at traditional Mike Tomlin offenses, they are run heavy and make the right decision from a pass standpoint, and you run to get to the big play.
Yeah, I just, the only thing I question, and it's not about with Fields, it's about a bunch of these young, quarterbacks is that, some of them just don't look like good passers. Like they can't, I can understand if you say, hey, you know what, the reason why he's throwing the ball, on a slant route behind the receiver rather than leading receiver is he's not adjusting to the speed of the game, right? And he has to go ahead and make that decision, quicker, and you hope along, those lines of stuff. There's one thing there's that, but there's another thing of a guy going ahead and making a crossing route and the guy's wide open and you go ahead and you hit him in the big toe.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder about with some of those guys, and I'm not saying Fields was like that because I didn't get a chance, to watch him, as much as you would have in your area, whether, because I'm sure, obviously, a little bit of college, with Ohio State and stuff, but from a pro perspective, so, you've seen that. That's what I was just curious about him. He just never seemed to, the games that I saw when he was in Chicago, to be a good passer. He could run. When they let him go ahead and use his legs and that type of stuff, he seemed, he seemed good to be able to do that, but it was the other part.
It's like you said earlier with Lamar, right? If the organization said, I know what your strengths are, let's work and make that, let's see what he can do. And I just don't think he had that in Chicago.
Yeah. And and the point is, he probably didn't really have that a lot in college either, because he's playing for such a powerhouse
with all the weapons.
And he's playing with guys that are, that's so much better than a defensive back that they're playing with. That he's probably throwing a wide open receivers more than leading a receiver to get open.
Very true.
That's why, I wonder about, some of these young guys and stuff like that, but again, if we want a team to wait on a coach, we need to really have that same thing and say, hey, you need to wait on a quarterback and not make a decision too soon. But
smooth as X was Amaro was a good passer. I don't ever remember questioning his arm, even back at Louisville. Never.
Mm-mm. Is Jimmy Butler getting traded?
Oh yeah, but he's going to be put in a poor situation. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere that matters. He's going to be put in a poor situation.
Yeah. he you know, if he would have went in and said, "Hey, listen, you know, I would like to be traded," and kept it on the down low and had a nice conversation.
Notice how all the talk of where he's going has just died off.
Yeah.
People know Pat Riley and how he gets down.
I just seen a clip where Bam was mad at Rozier for stealing for getting the rebound over him, and I said that just tells me that everything is broken in Miami.
Yeah,
Bam
Miami probably needs to tear down.
But Bam should be upset about the decline of his game. Not worry about a rebound. He has taken major steps back.
But he's happy in love.
That's his booth ain't tearing him down. Agent Wilson would destroy your career.
Oh, wow.
She would take your career but while she's balling,
right?
Can't his career down.
Yeah.
You know when she showed up to the Dwayne Wade statue? I was like, wow. I don't even know. Does she know Dwayne Wade like that?
That was one ugly statue.
Like Dwayne Wade said, it ain't gotta look like me. If I wanted it to look like me, then it'll look like me.
Hey, memorialize me, but don't worry if anybody knows who it is without looking at the number on the jersey.
And then they asked Derrick Rose, you want a statue or your jersey retired? He said, man, the way these statues looking.
Yeah, with the jersey in the rafters.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is with Jimmy Butler, I mean, where is he going to potentially go?
I say he needs to go to Houston.
He's got a lot.
I've been saying this since day one. Them boys need leadership down there. Udoka would love to have him.
Oh, yeah.
Best fit. They all idolize him. Man, it's Jimmy Butler, man. They all idolize him.
Yeah, that would be a really good fit. That would, wow, yeah.
Go down there.
They have the assets that they could send back to Miami.
Yeah, go play with Jalen Green. Yeah, we'll see. I don't see Pat sending them somewhere like, you know. And look at Golden State tonight. Steph had 31. They lose by 18. He's walking around looking frustrated.
Lakers lost by 21 to a Dallas without Luka and Kyrie.
That's right. And then
wasn't JJ going to change things?
Yeah. He's running the same program. And then Dinwiddie got off tonight. And he used to play for the Lakers, and LeBron would let him take a shot. Dinwiddie was just passing the ball. You know these teams are up. You notice how teams get up to play LeBron?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They want to destroy this dude, man.
He had a nice little mid dunk tonight, though.
That was real cool.
Melo, MVP.
MVP of what?
Yeah, which Melo?
I don't know.
That would be LaMelo Ball.
MVP of what? Oh, this is quite. So there's a gentleman on Quiet Podcast, Imani, who loves Melo Ball. When he knows Melo Ball probably hurt the rest of the season next week.
Yeah.
So it's all good. You know, he also loves Trevor Lawrence. When he knows Trevor Lawrence is not that dude. He's not part of the 2 of every 20. He's the other. But it's all good. First time ever LeBron had a negative plus minus.
Wow. That's incredible.
Well, he does things to make sure if you've been playing long enough, really, you can do things to make sure you're plus minus.
Yeah, of course. And he's still the third best player all time in the NBA.
Oh, well, Michael, just so you know, I have him at 11.
11?
11.
I like that.
Yeah. Jordan says I'm a hater. I just keep it real. Jordan says this every week. Jordan says this every week, and he knows that.
Jordan gets to say it in person next week.
Yeah. He knows I keep it 1,000 wild. I don't hate. I just keep it real.
Well, before we got to huddle, we got to have your NBA top 5.
My all-time NBA top 5?
All-time NBA top 5.
Michael, Kobe, Wilt Chamberlain, Shaq, Kareem.
Can't get mad at that. That's nice.
No, I can't get mad at that at all. That's classic. Talking about some real deal players there. I got to give you my top 11.
Yeah, please.
All right, we got Michael Jordan. I got Oscar Robertson high. Magic Johnson, Kareem, Kobe Bryant, Bill Russell, Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, Steph Curry, who is climbing, Wilt Chamberlain, and then LeBron James.
Yeah, can't argue with that. You're right.
Now, that's funny because FD believes that Steph Curry is the greatest point guard, but yet Magic Johnson's higher on his all-time list.
This list is like 3 years old. It hasn't changed. I had Steph put Larry Bird out, so he's coming on Magic.
It's fluid.
Yeah,
they got players.
Them names are going to be there. They said Magic ain't dropping out of the top 10. What's crazy though is that John Stockton has more assists, more career points than Magic Johnson, but nobody talks about John Stockton.
Played in Utah.
Did you know? I think that's what it is.
You played in friggin' Utah.
If you played in Utah and you threw all those assists on the pick and roll to a guy that's a little shady. So
yeah. Well, a guy who at one time was what? So what is he? It's called the third or the fourth all-time leading scorer?
Third, I think.
Yeah.
I believe.
I mean, you think about it. You had third-time all-leading scorer. You had a guy with the most assists and everything, and they played in Utah.
And I looked Steph up the other day. He has 24,500 points. He's going for 30,000. Big John, get ready. Jordan, get ready. 6'2" guard with 30 G, bro. Have you ever seen that?
Nope.
You know anything? Nobody knows anything about that.
No.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy, man. Not a 7-footer. Check the list. Not 6'10". Those are the guys who are up there right now. LeBron James is probably one of the shortest at 6'8".
Yeah.
Then you got a 6'2" guard, probably 6'1".
Yeah. Yeah, he was wearing shoes that day.
That's right.
No, it's amazing. Yeah,
Curry way too low. You know it. You know it, Imani.
He changed the game.
Shook it up.
I mean, and stuff, and just, I mean, I don't know. It's just the thing that gets me when you watch that games though is that it's still he never stops. He's just running and running and running. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how many if they ever tracked how much he runs, but my gosh, I wonder how many miles he runs in a game.
It's funny how you never really seen that guy tired either. Yeah, Jordan is 6'6". True that. Quiet Podcast, second all-time Carmelo.
No, it can't be. Carl never passed Jabbar.
Let me see.
Unless is he saying that Curry's second all time?
Oh, that may be what he's saying. See, that's some hate right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's great hate. It's all good though. We know greatness when we see it.
Yeah. Man, the other part that sucks is and then there you are, and you're his brother playing in the league also. People looking at you going,
well, look at Hank Aaron. His brother hit.
Why ain't you as good? Right. Tommy
Hank
Aaron.
Aaron's brother hit. Yeah, he hit one home run.
Yeah. Why ain't you as good, man? What the hell? Come on.
And Seth has always showed glimpses of something.
Yeah.
Just never caught on to be consistent with.
Yeah.
He's had some nights where he's like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Just never been consistent with that thing. Still
What's in the top section? Top 5 what if hoopers.
Roy is in there. I'm trying to think of who else.
Derrick Rose.
Who?
Derrick Rose.
Oh yeah, Derrick Rose. Lynn Bias.
Yeah, Lynn Bias.
Top 5 what if.
I think that's all 3 you need, really. Greg Oden, maybe?
I was thinking Greg Oden.
I was thinking
Greg Oden. Oh, Zion Williamson.
I was just gonna say, do you think a guy like Zion?
He said he had a windmill tonight.
Yeah.
Sid, I thought after this long break, Sid didn't see a jump shot.
Nope.
I thought he was gonna pop something.
Brandon Roy was pretty amazing.
I loved his game.
T-Mac.
Loved his game.
Penny.
Yeah, Penny.
Grant Hill.
Yeah, Grant Hill. Both chronic knee injuries.
Mhm.
Also, Grant Hill was like the slimmer version of Zion. No consistent jump shot.
You know who might have if it wasn't for injury, and it's going to sound weird? Larry Bird.
True.
You think about all the injuries he dealt with towards the end there and had to shorten his career.
And then, now that I talk about Stockton and Magic's career was cut short. He was 32.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Came out for an All-Star game. Really didn't play that season.
Right.
Jay Will. I can't count Jay Will. He said Jay Will Black. Damn. I can't count Jay Will.
I cannot tell you.
Well, but how can you wait a minute? But how could you not have Jay Will, but you'll have Odin just because of how big Odin was?
Yeah, I won't have Jay Will because for 3 main reasons. One, he injured himself being stupid on a motorcycle.
You know, he single-handedly derailed the Bulls franchise for 15 years.
2, as a Illini fan, I wanted Darren Williams or D Brown, and then they lost to them when they lost to Duke in the tournament. That made me mad, so I didn't want to draft them at all.
Mm-hmm.
And 3, Jay Will's kind of an asshole.
He is.
So yeah.
So hold on.
So
him crashing the motorcycle set them back that much?
Yes, he was the number 1 draft pick.
Oh yeah.
No, I know he was that, but I didn't know that he was.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And you just out just revving it up.
And he just flipped it on top of himself?
And, yeah, and he also thinks that LeBron's better than Jordan. I don't get it, but that's Jay Will. Where's he at now? What's he doing right now?
Wasn't he?
He ain't been on ESPN.
I haven't seen that guy.
Top 5 WNBA. I can't even name 5 friggin' WNBA.
You talking about all time, or you talking about right now?
I mean,
All time is easy.
Yeah, all time is easy. Right now, I don't know about that.
Cynthia Cooper, Lisa Leslie, Rebecca Lobo, Diana Taurasi.
Bird?
Did you say Cooper?
Right. Oh, yeah, I said Cynthia Cooper. Yeah.
Okay.
Swoops.
Yeah, Swoops.
Swoops. Yeah.
Female Jordan, they used to call her.
Magic was Hall of Fame on his end of the road.
Did anybody name? Oh, you know, Big John's gonna call me a hater.
What?
I was like, did anybody name Caitlin Clark?
See, you gotta start. You gotta start.
Just asking.
Oh no, Machado says right now, Clark and Asia Wilson are the only 2 that I could think of.
Oh no,
I won't say Taurasi because I just think she's past.
I like Asia.
Right, Asia Wilson, Caitlin.
I like Taurasi. I like the The wings guard, Enrique. Who else we got?
It's rough.
Huh?
Rough.
I was trying to remember, like, 'cause I know I collect, but it's not that rough, right? You got those three. Then you have Asia.
You said her. You can't say her twice.
It's rough. Yeah, it's
It
rough.
is really rough. Hold on.
Top five.
Yeah.
Asia.
See,
Asia. Caitlin. I need one more.
No.
Rough, man.
Alyssa Thomas from the Sun.
Come on, man. You're not picking the hometown
Hold on.
favorite.
You said who now? Who was that?
And then Jacqua. And I love Alyssa Thomas for the Suns. I like her. And I like Jonquel Jones. That personal. Jones is a personal
You gotta
favorite.
put Stewie in there.
She's a appearance. So
You gotta put Stewie from your champion New York Liberty.
there you go. Jewel Machado. Jewel Lloyd. I lost respect for Jewel Lloyd from this whole fallout with the team thing going on. I lost a lot of respect for her. I ain't put that in top 5, nothing. She got to come back and ball.
Does she play with Skylar Diggins?
Yeah, the Seattle, and that's like,
I know about that. Yeah.
Yeah, like they were she claimed they were bullying her, and they didn't give her. The team was conspiring for her not to get her average, so she didn't make such much money, even though she was just taking bad shots.
Hey, what's up with Sabrina? No Sabrina?
Not after that finals, not after that game 5, and she can hit the bras out of a barn.
I mean, you talk about somebody who went from like, oh my God, to what the hell are you doing on the court? Right? Because the game before was the one where she went off.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden nothing. But I mean, I just can't believe you're not picking the hometown favorite. How are you not picking Angela Reese?
Hey,
Angel Reese.
Angel Reese, man.
Oh, you don't know that. I think Angel Reese is overrated. Wildly overrated.
But since she took our Instagram down because you said that.
I think Angel Reese is wildly overrated. I think she's good. Nafisa's nice. See, it's late. You gotta put me on the spot.
Machado, you're right. She did hit the clutchest shot in Liberty history, and then she went like she didn't know how to go ahead and hit, up the broadside of a barn the following game.
It's hard. Top 5 today. It's hard.
Yeah,
it's rough.
I mean, is it hard for you to say? I mean, that Reese is overrated?
Is it hard for me to say that? No, it's easy for me to say it.
Yeah.
Her double doubles are 70% of her own misses. So
I really think Big Jon is hating on Reese.
Okay.
She's going to go. Next thing you know, she's going to deactivate her X account.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm looking forward to the Unrivaled League and watching that.
I am too. I am looking forward to that.
That's the 3-on-3, right?
Yeah.
Caitlin said no, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't somebody else? Didn't a couple other names? Did anybody else back out, or are they still?
No, I don't think people are in there. Angel Reese is in there.
Yeah.
She's going to lead the league in rebounding. She's going to average a double-double also. Top 5 sports cards, brands / sets.
It's very deep, Machado.
Yeah.
All right. Jordan, I see you laughing at me. Now, remember, you're getting the hot seat next week. Remember that laughter next week, you're getting the hot seat.
I can't wait for Jordan to come through. Mr. Brown. I can't wait.
Top 5 brands and sets. That's too hard. That's so subjective for sports collectors.
It is.
And And some of you are probably really, really young, so you don't really, what, old school cards are really like other than what you see, when you go to a card show.
Michael, how many card shows are there frequent card shows where you
are? There's one that is the most consistent one. I think they do every month. They're in a different hotel. They flip flop between two hotels, and then they have started. They expanded. There was one called Culture Collision.
Oh yeah.
Prism God. And that's usually February. Then I'll probably go more than likely. I mean, it's less than 10 miles from my house where it is. And then they started doing September of another bit. They did like Culture Collision, in September also.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get a chance to go to the one. I didn't get a chance to go to that one, the September version this year. It's a different. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's January or February. I know last year it was February. I haven't looked to see.
Oh, I think it's in January.
January this year.
Yeah, 23rd
Okay.
to 26th. Yeah.
I might be out of town actually. Yeah, I think I'm going to North Carolina for that weekend. But you have that, and there's a few card places, and then you have Cards HQ, not too far from here. From where I am, that's right. It's literally in the shopping center. That's basically across from where the convention center that they have Culture Collision in. But it's I don't know. It's still so hard to go ahead and get stuff. I mean, when you want. I mean, what they're talking, stuff coming out at whatever it was. I think what the heck was it? Allure Hockey is coming out. It's like $120 for Allure Hockey. It's like, come on, man. Who's my draw? I mean, there's no Connor Bedard rookie card in there, stuff like that. So, House Cards HQ. It's a different kind of shop. They have all the windows there for the breakers and stuff like that. I don't know. It's weird. You don't really get a feeling that you're walking into like, the traditional card shop, which is what I was always used to. So it's very different, everything is priced and it's like, hey, this is the price. If they have a price on a card of $200, that's what it is. And they're not gonna, well, let's go look at the 5 comps on last 5 solds on eBay and do all that kind of stuff. So it's really a different, it's a different type of shop, where you go in, that you're normally seeing. Is it fine? Yeah, I mean it's a good place to go. You're gonna have a different set of expectations, when you show there. It's not your little corner, in a strip mall. I mean, yes, it's in a strip mall, but it's not your typical way you saw, in a strip mall in the back corner. It's that type of thing.
It's like a retail card shop.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Top Chrome, Finest, Forever Legendary. Yeah, those are good. But Upper Deck used to have some mad inserts too.
Did it? Upper Deck in a card game. What happened? That's a whole nother.
Licensing.
Yeah, but how do you let that slip away from you?
I don't know.
Everything has a cycle. You think about it. Everything has a cycle. Blockbuster Video used to be the bomb.
Well, the big thing that's going to be interesting with Fanatics is the deals that they signed are all long-term deals. I think they're all. What isn't football like 10 years? Basketball might be 10 years. So, unless it goes ahead and it goes south and something happens with the hobby, and Fanatics is like, hey, we ain't doing nothing. Let's go ahead and try and, sell off some of this. That's the only thing I could think of that would make it change. You'd have to have something like that happen.
True.
Hopefully nothing like that happens. At least for not for a while.
Well, something has to happen because, I mean, some of the pricing is just so damn stupid. It's not funny. I mean, you're everybody complained about people complain about breakers and stuff like that. But the problem you have is you priced the boxes at such a high price that you kind of turned people to going into a breaker, because now they're saying, I don't want to pay $500 for a box and get crap. I'd rather spend $25 on my team and get crap. Little
Yes, to kind of play to cut out certain levels in the distribution sales process. You're going to be priced out. So instead of 5 connection points, it may be 2. And then the other people, they're just losing.
Right.
So.
All right.
Independent get rights. Nope.
Michael, it's been a pleasure having you on tonight.
Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. That was a quick 3 hours.
Yeah. This is the longest one we did so far.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's been a great conversation. I learned a lot. I think the next time I'm in Atlanta, whenever that is, I got to reach out to you, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. That'd be awesome.
How long have you lived there?
26 years.
You've seen a lot of changes.
Yeah.
A lot of growth.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see it and you feel it when you get in your car and you drive around.
What made you originally want to go to Atlanta?
I got transferred with work.
Okay.
So mine was all work.
I heard that. Before
we got there, Mike, now your son Mike, doesn't he do like a grading company or like free grading?
Yeah, my son has Gentili Grading. He actually just did a bunch of cards for me and a couple other guys. Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, he does he offers a pre-grading service, which basically you can send him cards. He will look at them. He will pre-grade them. He was a grader. He worked for 2 grading companies as an actual grader. So it's not like something he just decided to do. Then he will look at the cards for you, and then he will basically report back to you and say, hey, out of the 10 cards you sent, these 3 will get 10s. These 3 will get 9s. These 4 are going to get below 9s. What do you want to do? And then he's a group submitter also. So then what he does is he'll only submit what you want. So this way you're not paying for 8s and 6s and 7s and crap like that. You're only paying if you grade a card to get 10s, 9, 9, 5s, and 10s.
Interesting. Good information.
Yeah. Yippers.
All right, I gotta get to bed. I'm getting tired. This has been a great show. I appreciate having you on.
Well, thank you very much.
So have I.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
FD, we'll do it again next week.
That's it.
Right.
All right.
See you
Chad,
later.
thank you for being here.
Later, guys.
Have a good night.
Thank you for being here. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.